When Elon Musk's luxury yacht suddenly broke down in the middle of the ocean, the whole world thought they were watching a disaster. News helicopters circled overhead. Coast Guard boats rushed to help. Videos of the chaos spread across the internet faster than wildfire. Millions of people watched and wondered, what was happening? Why was one of the richest men in the world stranded at sea? But nobody knew the real story. Nobody knew about the 12-year-old girl fighting for her life on that yacht. Nobody knew about a promise made 5 years earlier in a cafeteria. And nobody knew about the incredible secret hidden beneath the waves, something so beautiful that it had never been seen by human eyes before. The cameras caught the emergency, the panic, the helicopters, but they missed what mattered most. They missed the 17 minutes that changed everything. This isn't a story about a yacht breaking down. This is a story about a dying girl who wanted to see the stars. A billionaire who remembered a promise when everyone thought he'd forget. And a miracle that happened underwater while the world watched from above, completely confused about what was really going on. What you're about to hear will make you cry. It will make you believe in impossible things. And it will show you that sometimes, the most viral moments in history happen for reasons nobody expects. So what really happened on that yacht? Why did Elon Musk risk everything for one moment? And what did a 7-year-old girl say to him 5 years ago that started it all? Stay with me. Because this true story begins in a SpaceX cafeteria in California with a little girl carrying a purple notebook filled with rocket drawings. And it ends with the whole world learning what courage really looks like. Watch until the very end, because what happens in the final chapter will absolutely break your heart, but also give you hope like you've never felt before. This is the story of Arya Chen. And it starts 5 years before that yacht ever left the harbor. The morning sun painted the SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, with golden light. It was June 15, 2019, and the parking lot was filled with cars. But today was special. Today was Bring Your Child to Work Day. 7-year-old Arya Chen pressed her nose against the car window. Her eyes were wide with wonder. The building looked like something from a science fiction movie. Tall, silver, beautiful. "Mom, is that where they build the rockets?" Arya asked. Dr. Margaret Chen smiled at her daughter in the rearview mirror. "That's right, sweetie. That's where we make dreams come true." Arya clutched her worn purple notebook against her chest. The notebook was filled with drawings, rocket designs, stars, mathematical equations that most 7-year-olds couldn't understand. But Arya wasn't most 7-year-olds. She was dying. The doctors had explained it to her parents when Arya was only 5. Dilated cardiomyopathy. Her heart was getting weaker. It couldn't pump blood the way it should. The doctors said she might have 5 years, maybe 10 if they were lucky. But Arya didn't act like a dying child. She acted like a girl who wanted to touch the stars. "Come on, baby," Margaret said, opening the car door. "Let me show you where mommy works." Arya climbed out slowly. She was small for her age, thin. Her skin was pale and dark circles lived under her eyes, but when she smiled, the whole world seemed brighter. Margaret took her daughter's hand. They walked through the glass doors together. Inside, the building buzzed with energy. Engineers rushed past carrying tablets and blueprints. Screens on the walls showed rockets launching into space. The air smelled like coffee and possibility. "Whoa," Arya whispered. "Pretty cool, right?" Margaret said. Other children were there too. They ran around laughing and playing, but Arya didn't run. She couldn't. Her heart wouldn't let her. Instead, she walked slowly, studying everything. Her eyes absorbed every detail like a sponge soaking up water. Margaret's coworkers stopped to say hello. They smiled at Arya. Some patted her head. They all knew about her condition. They all looked at her with sad eyes. Arya hated those looks. "Dr. Chen, is this your daughter?" asked a young engineer named Marcus. "Yes, this is Arya," Margaret said proudly. "Nice to meet you, Arya. What do you want to be when you grow up?" Arya looked up at him seriously. "An astronaut. But I probably won't grow up, so I'm going to be a rocket scientist instead." "You can be a rocket scientist at any age." The engineer's smile froze. He didn't know what to say. Adults never did when Arya talked about dying. That's wonderful," he finally managed. Margaret squeezed Arya's hand. They moved on. The morning passed quickly. Margaret showed Arya the engineering floor. She explained how they designed heat shields for rockets, how they calculated trajectories, how they tested materials that could survive space. Arya listened to everything. She asked questions that made the engineers stop and think. Smart questions, questions about thrust ratios and fuel efficiency and orbital mechanics. "Your daughter is remarkable," one engineer told Margaret. "I know," Margaret said, fighting back tears. At noon, they went to the cafeteria. It was a big, bright room with windows overlooking the factory floor. Arya could see a Falcon 9 rocket being built. Her eyes grew enormous. "Mom, look, is that real?" "Very real, baby. That rocket will go to space in 2 months." Arya stared at the rocket like other kids stared at candy. Her notebook fell open in her lap. Pages and pages of drawings spilled out. Rockets with strange designs. Ideas that seemed to come from somewhere beyond her 7 years. Margaret went to get their lunch. Arya stayed at the table drawing. She was sketching the Starship rocket from memory. She'd studied every photo she could find online, every video, every technical document that was public. That's when she noticed the mistake. In the official photos, the heat shield tiles near the nose cone had a specific pattern, but Arya had read about heat distribution. She'd watched videos about how plasma worked during re-entry, and something didn't look right. The tiles were arranged wrong, at least she thought they were. She was so focused on her drawing that she didn't notice the man standing behind her. "Interesting design," a voice said. Arya turned around. Her heart skipped a beat. Elon Musk stood there holding a cup of coffee. He wore jeans and a black t-shirt. His hair was a bit messy. He looked tired but curious. Arya knew who he was immediately. Everyone knew Elon Musk. "You're him," she said simply. Elon smiled. "I'm him, and you are." "Arya Chen, my mom works here. She's an aerospace engineer." "Nice to meet you, Arya Chen." Elon pointed at her notebook. "What are you working on?" Most kids would have been nervous. Most kids would have frozen. But Arya had learned something important about dying young. You don't waste time being scared. "I'm looking at your Starship design," she said. "The heat shield pattern. Can I ask you something?" Elon raised his eyebrows. "Sure." "Why did you arrange the tiles like that near the nose cone? Wouldn't it be better to stagger them in a hexagonal pattern? The heat distribution would be more even during re-entry." Elon stared at her, really stared. Then he sat down at her table. "How old are you?" he asked. 7, well, almost 8. My birthday is in 3 weeks." "And you're thinking about heat shield configurations?" "I think about rockets a lot," Arya said. "I want to go to space someday, but I can't." "Why not?" Arya touched her chest. "My heart doesn't work right, it's getting weaker. The doctors say I have maybe 5 more years, maybe 10 if I'm really lucky." Elon's face changed. The curiosity turned to something else, something soft and sad. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. Arya shrugged. "It's okay. I've had time to think about it. That's why I study rockets so much. If I can't go to space, maybe my ideas can." Elon looked down at her notebook again. He really studied it this time, page after page of designs. Some were childish, but some were brilliant. "Your hexagonal pattern idea," he said slowly. That's really smart. We did test something similar, but we had manufacturing concerns." Arya's eyes lit up. "So I was right. You were thinking in the right direction. That's what matters." For the next 10 minutes they talked, really talked. Elon asked Arya questions about her designs. She asked him about Mars, about reusability, about why he wanted to go to space in the first place. "Because humanity needs a backup plan," Elon explained. "Earth is wonderful, but we can't keep all our eggs in one basket." "Like my heart," Arya said. "I only have one. If it breaks, that's it. Humans only have one planet. If it breaks, that's it." Elon stared at her like she just revealed the secrets of the universe. Margaret returned with 2 trays of food. She nearly dropped them when she saw who was sitting with her daughter. "Mr. Musk, I'm so sorry. Is Arya bothering you?" "Not at all," Elon said, standing up. "Your daughter is extraordinary, Dr. Chen. You should be very proud." "I am," Margaret said softly. Elon looked back at Arya. "What do you want to be when you grow up, Arya, if you could be anything?" Arya thought about it carefully. "I want to see Earth from space before I die. I want to know what it looks like when you're floating up there looking down at everything. But I won't. My heart won't let me. So instead..." She paused, gathering her courage. "So instead, I want you to go for me. And when you're up there, I want you to tell me everything. Every detail, what it feels like, what it smells like, what Earth looks like, everything." Elon's eyes became shiny. He blinked several times. "That's all you want?" he asked. "Well, I want you to keep building rockets. Keep trying to get to Mars. Because even if I don't make it, other kids like me need to know that humans won't give up on space, that dreams are still possible." Elon knelt down so he was eye level with Arya. He looked at her seriously. "I'll do you one better," he said. "When you turn 12, I'm going to take you on a trip you'll never forget. I promise. And I'll show you something no one else has ever seen." Arya's mouth fell open. "Really? Really? Do we have a deal?" Arya stuck out her tiny hand. Elon shook it gently. "Deal," she said. Margaret started crying. She couldn't help it. Elon Musk had just made a promise to her dying daughter, a promise that might never be kept. Arya might not make it to 12. Elon pulled out his phone. He created a reminder right there at the table. He showed it to Arya. June 15, 2024, Arya Chen turns 12. The promise. "I don't forget promises to kids," Elon said. "Ever." He stood up, smiled at both of them, and walked away, just like that. No cameras, no publicity, just a moment between a billionaire and a dying girl who loved rockets. Arya watched him go. Then she looked down at her notebook. She turned to a fresh page and wrote in careful letters. "Mr. Musk made me a promise. I will live to be 12. I will." Margaret hugged her daughter tight. She cried into Arya's hair. She didn't know if Arya would make it to 12. The odds weren't good. But for the first time in years, she had hope. Arya didn't cry, she just smiled. She'd shaken hands with Elon Musk. She'd talked about rockets with the smartest man in the world, and he'd made her a promise. That night in her bedroom, Arya looked up at the stars through her window. She touched her chest, feeling her weak heart beating. "Just make it to 12, she whispered to herself. "Just make it to 12. The stars twinkled back, saying nothing. But somewhere in Hawthorne, California, in a phone that would sync to every device Elon Musk owned, an alarm was set. 5 years in the future. A promise waiting to be kept or broken. 5 years felt like forever to a 7-year-old, but 5 years passed in a blink. January 10, 2024, Austin, Texas. Elon Musk sat in his office at Tesla headquarters. The sun wasn't up yet. It was 5:47 a.m. He'd been working for 3 hours already. His desk was covered with reports, Tesla production numbers, Starship test results, X-platform updates, Neuralink trials, the Boring Company proposals. His phone buzzed. Reminder, Arya Chen, THE promise. Elon stared at the screen. For a moment he didn't remember. Then it hit him like a freight train, the little girl, the cafeteria, the rocket drawings, the promise. "Oh no," he whispered. He immediately opened his laptop. His fingers flew across the keyboard. He searched his email for Margaret Chen, found her employee file. She still worked at SpaceX. Good. He looked at the calendar. June 15, 2024. That was when Arya would turn 12. He had 5 months. But did Arya even make it? 5 years was a long time for a child with a dying heart. Elon picked up his phone. He hesitated. It was not even 6 a.m., but this couldn't wait. He called his executive assistant, Devin Ramirez. Devin had worked for Elon for 8 years. She was used to early morning calls. "Good morning, Elon," Devin answered, sounding surprisingly awake. "Devin, I need you to find someone. Dr. Margaret Chen. She works at SpaceX in Hawthorne. I need her phone number now. Is everything okay? I made a promise to her daughter 5 years ago. I need to know if the girl is still alive." There was a pause. "I'll call you back in 10 minutes. 8 minutes later, Devin called back. "Dr. Chen's personal cell phone is being sent to you now. Elon, I also did a quick search. Her daughter, Arya, is still alive. She turned 12 on June 15th last year. Wait, no. She'll turn 12 this June. I also found something else." "What?" "There's a fundraising page. Arya's on the heart transplant list, but her condition has gotten much worse. The family is raising money for medical expenses. They've raised $43,000 out of a $200,000 goal." Elon felt something twist in his chest. "Send me the link." "Already in your email." "Good. Now clear my schedule for July 23rd. July 23rd. That's over 6 months away. Your calendar isn't even built out that far yet." "I don't care. Mark it as unavailable all day. No meetings, no calls, nothing." "Can I ask why?" "I'm keeping a promise to a 12-year-old girl." Devin knew better than to ask more questions. Consider it done." Elon hung up. He opened the fundraising page. There was a photo of Arya. She was older now, of course, thin, pale, in a wheelchair. An oxygen tube ran under her nose, but her eyes were the same, bright, curious, alive. The description made his throat tight. Arya Chen is 12 years old and loves space, rockets, and mathematics. She has dilated cardiomyopathy and is on the heart transplant list. Her condition has worsened significantly in the past year. We are raising funds to cover medical expenses not covered by insurance. Arya dreams of seeing Earth from space, but for now, she dreams of seeing her 13th birthday. Any help is appreciated. Elon didn't hesitate. He donated $200,000 anonymously. Then he added another $50,000 for good measure, but money wasn't enough. He'd made a promise, a specific promise. "When you turn 12, I'm going to take you on a trip you'll never forget." What kind of trip could he give a dying girl who loved space but couldn't travel to it? Elon sat back in his chair. He stared at the ceiling. His mind raced through possibilities. Take her to SpaceX, she'd already been there. A rocket launch, too far, too dangerous for her condition. Zero-gravity flight, too risky with her heart. Then an idea struck him, a crazy idea. The kind of idea that made no logical sense but felt absolutely right. He grabbed his phone again. This time he called Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a marine biologist he'd met at a technology conference 2 years ago. She studied bioluminescent organisms, creatures that glowed in the deep ocean. "Dr. Tanaka, it's Elon Musk." "Mr. Musk, it's 6 in the morning. "I know, I'm sorry, but I need to ask you something. Is it possible to create an underwater light display using bioluminescent organisms? Something that looks like the aurora borealis but in the ocean?" There was a long pause. That's a very unusual question. "Can it be done?" "Theoretically, maybe. We'd need to concentrate certain species of dinoflagellates and combine them with LED technology. The scale would be enormous. Why do you ask?" "Because I need to show a dying girl the cosmos, and she can't go to space. So I'm bringing space to her." Another pause. "When do you need this?" "July 23rd, 6 months from now." "That's impossible." "I've heard that word a lot," Elon said. "It usually means it's possible but difficult." Dr. Tanaka laughed. "You're insane." "Will you help me?" "Let me make some calls. I'll get back to you by tomorrow." "Thank you." Elon hung up. He opened a new document on his computer, typed at the top, Project Arya, the promise. Over the next 6 weeks, Elon worked on Project Arya in secret. Between Tesla board meetings and Starship tests and X-platform updates, he planned. Dr. Tanaka said yes. She assembled a team of marine biologists. Elon hired engineers from SpaceX to build special underwater drones. Drones that could carry LED arrays and release bioluminescent organisms in controlled patterns. He chartered a luxury yacht called the Cosmos Dream, 300 feet long. It had a medical suite which would be necessary. He chose the location carefully, Santorini, Greece. The waters there were clear, deep, perfect for what he had in mind. But he didn't contact Dr. Chen yet. He wanted to make sure it was possible first. He didn't want to give Arya hope and then destroy it. February came and went. March arrived with cold rain. The underwater drones were being tested off the coast of California. Half of them failed. The bioluminescent organisms were difficult to keep alive. The LED patterns didn't sync properly. Elon visited the testing site personally. He stood on a boat in the Pacific Ocean, watching engineers troubleshoot. "It's not working," Sofia Alvarez, a SpaceX engineer, said. "The organisms die too quickly. We can't get the concentration we need." "Then find organisms that live longer," Elon said. "Or create an artificial version. I don't care how. Make it work." Sophia looked at him. "Why is this so important?" Elon told her about Arya, about the promise, about a 7-year-old girl with rocket drawings and a dying heart. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "We'll make it work, I promise." By April, they had a breakthrough. A combination of hardy bioluminescent jellyfish and advanced LED technology. The drones could create patterns underwater that looked like flowing curtains of light. Blues, greens, purples. It looked like the aurora borealis, but underwater. "It's beautiful," Dr. Tanaka said, watching the test footage. It's like space and ocean had a baby. Is it ready? Elon asked. Almost. We need more testing, more refinement. You have until July 20th. That's when we travel to Greece. May arrived. Elon finally made the call he'd been dreading. He dialed Dr. Chen's number. It rang 3 times. Hello, a tired voice answered. Dr. Chen, this is Elon Musk. Silence, then, I'm sorry, who? Elon Musk. We met 5 years ago in the SpaceX cafeteria. I met your daughter, Arya. More silence, then a sound like someone crying. You remember, Margaret's voice broke. I never forget promises to kids, ever. How is Arya? Margaret took a shaky breath. She's not doing well, Mr. Musk. She's on the transplant list, but her condition has deteriorated. The doctors say she has maybe 6 months, maybe less. Every day is a gift now. Elon closed his eyes. Has she mentioned the promise? Never, not once in 5 years, I think. I think she assumed you forgot. Most people do. I didn't forget. Her birthday is June 15th. She'll be 12. Yes, Margaret was definitely crying now. I want to take her on a trip, July 23rd, to Greece, for 1 week. I know it's a lot to ask given her condition, but... Yes. What? Yes, we'll go. Mr. Musk, Arya is dying. She knows it. I know it. If you're offering her something beautiful before the end, the answer is yes. Always yes. I'll need to bring a medical team, a cardiac specialist. This trip will be safe, I promise. What are you planning? Margaret asked. Something she's never seen before, something no one has ever seen before. She'll be so happy. She talks about you sometimes, about that day. It was the best day of her life. Elon felt tears in his own eyes now. Tell her I didn't forget, and tell her to get ready for the trip of a lifetime. I will. Thank you, Mr. Musk. Thank you for remembering my baby. After he hung up, Elon sat in silence for a long time. Then he called Devon. Status update on July 23rd, he asked. Completely clear. No meetings, no obligations. You're off the grid that entire week. Good. Book flights for Dr. Margaret Chen and Arya Chen to Athens, Greece. July 20th. First class. Private medical transport if needed. And get me Dr. Rashid Hassan, the cardiac specialist. Yes, tell him I need him for a week in July. Money is no object. Consider it done. Elon hung up. He opened the Project Arya folder on his computer. Inside were design documents, test results, videos of the underwater Aurora tests. At the bottom of the folder was a photo of 7-year-old Arya smiling, holding her purple notebook. He'd made her a promise 5 years ago. In 3 months, he'd either keep it or break it. Failure was not an option. June arrived like a storm. The final tests were happening. The yacht was being prepared. The medical team was assembled. The drones were being shipped to Greece. On June 15th, Arya turned 12 years old. Elon sent her a card. Inside, he wrote, Happy 12th birthday, Arya. Get ready. July 23rd, we keep our promise. Elon. When Arya opened it, she cried for 20 minutes. Her mother held her. He remembered, Arya kept saying. He actually remembered. The card sat on her bedside table, next to her oxygen tank, next to her worn purple notebook, next to her dreams. July 20th arrived faster than anyone expected. Elon made one final call to Sofia Alvarez. Is the prototype ready? He asked. It's ready. All 12 drones are functional. The bioluminescent organisms are healthy. The LED arrays are synced. It's going to be spectacular. It has to work perfectly, Sophia. A little girl's dream depends on it. I know it will work, I promise. Elon hung up. He looked out his office window at the Texas sky. Somewhere in California, a 12-year-old girl was packing for Greece. She didn't know what was waiting for her. She just knew that someone had remembered her, that her life mattered, that her dreams weren't forgotten. And that was everything. July 20, 2024, Los Angeles International Airport. Arya Chen sat in her wheelchair at gate 47. Her oxygen tank rested beside her. She wore a purple hoodie, her favorite color, and clutched her old notebook against her chest. The same notebook she'd carried 5 years ago. She looked different now. 12 years old, taller but so thin, her skin had a grayish tint. The dark circles under her eyes were permanent now. But when she smiled, that same bright light shone through. "Are you nervous, baby?" Margaret asked, kneeling beside the wheelchair. "No," Arya said. "I'm excited. I can't believe he actually remembered, Mom. 5 years." "He remembered." Margaret touched her daughter's cheek. "Some people keep their promises." A voice came over the intercom. "First-class passengers for Flight 2847 to Athens may now board." A man in a dark suit approached them. "Dr. Chen, Miss Arya, I'm Marcus Webb, Mr. Musk's travel coordinator. I'll be escorting you to the gate and ensuring you're comfortable throughout the flight." "That's very kind," Margaret said. Marcus smiled at Arya. "Mr. Musk wanted me to give you this." He handed her a small box. Arya's hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a silver bracelet. Engraved on it were words, "Dreams don't need wings, just courage. E.M." Arya started crying immediately. Happy tears, beautiful tears. "Can you help me put it on?" she asked. Margaret clasped the bracelet around her daughter's thin wrist. Arya held her arm up, watching the light catch the silver. "I'm never taking this off," she said. "Never." The flight to Athens was long, 13 hours, but it was comfortable. Arya had a lie-flat seat. The flight attendants checked on her constantly. A private nurse traveled with them, monitoring Arya's vitals. Arya slept most of the way. When she was awake, she looked out the window at the clouds, at the ocean far below. She imagined it was space, that she was floating among the stars. "Mom," she said at one point. "Yes, sweetie." "Do you think I'll die soon?" Margaret's heart broke. "Why are you asking that?" "Because I feel different, weaker. My chest hurts more. I think my heart is getting really tired." Margaret took her daughter's hand. "I don't know, baby, but right now you're here, you're alive, and we're going on an adventure." Arya nodded. "I'm glad. If I have to die, at least I got to do something amazing first." "Don't talk like that." "Mom, it's okay. I'm not scared anymore. I just want to see what Mr. Musk has planned. Then I'll be ready for whatever happens." Margaret couldn't respond. She just held her daughter's hand and cried silently. They landed in Athens on July 21st at 11:30 a.m. local time. The Greek sun was bright and warm. Marcus had arranged for a medical transport van to take them to Piraeus port. Arya pressed her face against the window as they drove. She saw ancient buildings, white stone, blue doors, olive trees. The Mediterranean Sea sparkled in the distance. "It's beautiful," she whispered. At the port, a boat waited. Not the yacht yet, a smaller boat that would take them to where the Cosmos Dream was anchored. A woman stood on the dock. She was Japanese, maybe 40 years old, with kind eyes and a warm smile. "You must be Arya," she said. "I'm Dr. Yuki Tanaka. I'm a marine biologist and I'm going to be part of your adventure." "Marine biologist?" Arya asked. "Like you study ocean stuff?" "Exactly like that, especially creatures that glow in the dark." Arya's eyes went wide. "Bioluminescence. I read about that. Dinoflagellates and certain jellyfish species produce light through chemical reactions. It's like they're little stars in the water." Dr. Tanaka laughed with delight. "You do know your science. We're going to be great friends, Arya." The boat ride took 30 minutes. As they approached the Cosmos Dream, Arya gasped. The yacht was enormous. Sleek white hull, 3 decks, it looked like something from a movie. "That's for us?" Arya asked. "That's for you," Marcus said. As they pulled alongside, Arya saw people on the deck, crew members, medical staff, and then she saw him. Elon Musk stood at the railing wearing jeans and a SpaceX t-shirt. His hair was windblown, he was smiling. When the boat docked, Elon came down to meet them. He knelt beside Arya's wheelchair. "Hello, Arya," he said. "Happy belated birthday." Arya couldn't speak, she just stared at him, then she started crying. "You came," she finally said. "You're really here." "I told you I keep my promises." He looked at her bracelet. "I see you got my gift." Arya held up her wrist. "I'm never taking it off." "Good. Now, are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime?" "Yes, but Mr. Musk." "Call me Elon." "Okay, Elon, what are we doing?" Elon's eyes twinkled. "That's a surprise, but I promise you it's something no one has ever seen before. Come on, let me show you your room." 2 crew members carefully lifted Arya's wheelchair onto the yacht. Margaret followed, clutching their bags. The yacht was even more beautiful inside. Wood floors, huge windows, soft white furniture. Arya's room was on the second deck. It had a massive bed, a private bathroom, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the sea. Medical equipment was set up discreetly in the corner, an oxygen concentrator, monitors, emergency supplies. "This is for me?" Arya asked. "All yours," Elon said. "Rest today. Tomorrow we start sailing, and the day after tomorrow," he paused dramatically. "Well, you'll see." That evening they ate dinner on the deck. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. The sea was calm and glittering. Besides Arya and her mother, the guest list was small but interesting. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, marine biologist James Okoye, a documentary filmmaker from Nigeria Sophia Alvarez, the SpaceX engineer who'd worked on the underwater drones Dr. Rashid Hassan, cardiac specialist from Johns Hopkins Hospital. And of course Elon. They sat around a long table. Arya was in her wheelchair at the head, oxygen tube under her nose. She looked tiny and fragile, but her eyes were bright with curiosity. "So," Arya said, looking around. "A marine biologist, a filmmaker, and a rocket engineer walk onto a yacht. This sounds like the start of a joke." Everyone laughed. "I like her," James said, his Nigerian accent warm. "Arya, I'm here to film your adventure, if that's okay with you." "Why would you want to film me?" Arya asked. "Because your story matters," James said simply. Elon cleared his throat. "Everyone here is part of something special. For the last 6 months we've been working on a project, a secret project, and Arya, you're the reason for all of it." "Me?" Arya looked confused. "You asked me to tell you about space, about what it looks like from up there, but I can't take you to space." Elon's voice was gentle. "Your heart won't allow it. So instead, I decided to bring space to you." "I don't understand." Dr. Tanaka leaned forward. "Arya, have you ever heard of bioluminescent blooms, when the ocean glows at night?" "Yes, I've seen videos. It's when dinoflagellates light up the water. It looks magical." "Exactly. Now imagine if we could control that, create patterns with it, make the ocean look like the aurora borealis, like the northern lights but underwater." Arya's mouth fell open. "Is that even possible?" Sophia spoke up. "It wasn't, but we made it possible. We built special drones that can release bioluminescent organisms in controlled patterns. Combined with LED technology, we can create light displays underwater that look like, well, like the cosmos." "Like space," Arya whispered. "Like space," Elon confirmed. "Tomorrow we sail to a special location off Santorini. The water there is perfect, deep, clear, calm. On July 23rd at sunset, we're going to activate the system. You're going to see something no human has ever seen before. An underwater aurora, a piece of the cosmos brought down to the sea." Arya couldn't speak. Tears streamed down her face. Her mother was crying too. "You did all this for me?" Arya finally managed. "You inspired it," Elon said. "But it's bigger than you now. This technology could bring wonder to people who can't travel, kids in hospitals, elderly people, anyone who dreams of seeing something impossible. You're the first, Arya, but you won't be the last." Dr. Hassan, the cardiac specialist, spoke quietly. "Arya, I need to be honest with you. This adventure involves some risk. Your heart is very weak. The excitement, the travel, even just being here, it's all stress on your system. We have to be careful." Arya looked at him seriously. "Dr. Hassan, I'm dying anyway, right?" The doctor hesitated. "Your condition is very serious, yes." "Then I'd rather die doing something amazing than die in a hospital bed. At least this way, my life means something." The table went silent. Even Elon had to wipe his eyes. "You're the bravest person I've ever met," Sophia said. "I'm not brave," Arya said. "I'm just running out of time." That night after dinner, Elon and Arya sat on the deck alone. The stars were out, millions of them. The Milky Way stretched across the sky like a river of light. "I come out here sometimes," Elon said, "when I need to remember why I do what I do." "Why do you?" Arya asked. "Because life is short. Humanity is fragile. We need to become a multiplanetary species. We need to reach for the stars before it's too late." "Like me," Arya said, "reaching for space before my time runs out." Elon looked at her. "I've met presidents, scientists, astronauts, but you, Arya Chen, you understand the mission better than anyone. You know what it means to dream when time is running out." Do you think people will remember me? Arya asked quietly. After I die. I think people will remember what you inspired. This underwater aurora system. It exists because of you. Because you made me think about bringing wonder to people who can't chase it themselves. Arya looked down at her bracelet. Dreams don't need wings, just courage. Do you feel courageous? Elon asked. No, I feel scared. My chest hurts all the time now. Every breath is hard. I'm scared of dying, Elon. I'm really scared. Elon took her small hand in his. Being scared doesn't mean you're not brave. Bravery is being scared and doing it anyway. They sat in silence, looking at the stars. The yacht rocked gently on the waves. Elon, Arya said. Yeah. Thank you for not forgetting me. Thank you for reminding me what matters. The next day, July 22nd, the yacht sailed towards Santorini. The journey took most of the day. Arya spent it on the deck watching the sea. Dr. Hassan monitored her constantly. Her heart rate was elevated. Her oxygen saturation kept dropping. She's declining faster than I expected, he told Margaret privately. The travel, the excitement, it's taking a toll. Can she make it until tomorrow? Margaret asked, terrified. I think so, but we need to be prepared for anything. That evening, Santorini appeared on the horizon. The island was stunning. White buildings with blue domes perched on volcanic cliffs. The sea around it was impossibly blue. They anchored in a quiet cove away from tourists. The water was crystal clear. You could see down 40 feet. Elon gathered everyone on the deck. The sun was setting, painting everything gold. Tomorrow is the day, he said. We'll deploy the drones at 2 p.m. They need time to set up. At sunset, around 8 p.m., we'll activate the aurora. Arya, you'll be right here on this deck, watching. We'll lower a waterproof camera so you can see it up close on the monitor. How long will it last? Arya asked. If everything works perfectly, about 30 minutes, maybe longer. And if it doesn't work? Elon smiled. Then we'll have tried something impossible, and that's worth something too. Arya nodded. She looked tired, so tired, but her eyes were still bright. That night she wrote in her notebook. Her hands shook, but she managed. Tomorrow I see the impossible. Tomorrow I touch the stars, even if they're underwater. If I die after this, it's okay. I got to live something beautiful. Thank you, Elon. Thank you for remembering a little girl who loved rockets. She closed the notebook and fell asleep, the bracelet glinting on her wrist. July 23, 2024 was coming, and with it everything would change. July 23, 2024, 2:00 p.m. The sun blazed overhead. The Mediterranean Sea was calm like glass, perfect conditions. Arya sat on the deck in her wheelchair wearing sunglasses and a wide-brimmed hat. Her oxygen tube was in place. Dr. Hassan stood nearby, watching her vitals on a portable monitor. Heart rate is 112, he said quietly to Margaret. Higher than I'd like, but she's excited. That's normal. Margaret held her daughter's hand. She couldn't stop looking at Arya, memorizing her face, just in case. Sophia and 2 other engineers were at the stern of the yacht preparing the drones. There were 12 of them, each about 4 feet long. They looked like small torpedoes painted white with blue LED strips along their sides. Final systems check, Sophia called out. Drone 1. Green, an engineer responded. Drone 2. Green. One by one, all 12 drones checked out. Everything was working perfectly. Elon stood beside Arya. You ready for this? Arya nodded. Her voice was weak. I've been ready my whole life. Here we go then. Elon nodded to Sophia. At 2:14 p.m., the first drone slid into the water with barely a splash. Then the second, third, fourth. All 12 drones entered the sea and disappeared into the blue depths. Sophia monitored them on a tablet. They're descending 50 feet, 75, 100, perfect positioning. They're forming the grid pattern. Dr. Tanaka stood beside her, watching the data. Bioluminescent organism containers are intact. Release mechanism is armed. This is actually going to work. James had 3 cameras running, capturing everything. The drones entering the water, Arya's face as she watched, the crew working. This was history being made. Drones are in position, Sophia announced. They'll hold there until sunset. That's when we activate the light show. Arya let out a breath she'd been holding. So now we wait. Now we wait, Elon said. 6 hours until sunset. The afternoon passed slowly, too slowly. Arya tried to rest, but she was too excited. Her heart raced. Her chest hurt, but she didn't tell anyone. She didn't want them to stop, not when they were so close. At 3:30 p.m., warning signs appeared. One of the drones surfaced unexpectedly. It bobbed on the waves, its LED lights flickering erratically. Drone 7 is malfunctioning, an engineer called out. The depth control system failed. It's trying to return to the surface. Sophia cursed under her breath. Can we recover it remotely? Attempting now. The team worked frantically. They managed to guide Drone 7 back to the yacht using remote controls, but when they pulled it from the water, the problem was obvious. A seal had failed. Water had leaked into the electronics. Can you fix it? Elon asked. Sophia examined the drone. Not quickly. We'd need to replace the entire control board. That's hours of work. Do we need it? Can the system work with 11 drones? Theoretically, yes. The display will be slightly less impressive, but it should still work. Arya watched from her wheelchair. It's okay, she said. 11 is fine, 11 is still magic. They lowered Drone 7 to the deck and continued monitoring the other 11. Everything seemed stable. At 5:15 p.m., Arya's condition changed. She was sitting on the deck watching the sunset approach when suddenly she gasped. Her hand flew to her chest. Her face went pale. Arya, Margaret jumped up. Baby, what's wrong? Can't breathe, Arya wheezed. Dr. Hassan was there in seconds. He checked her vitals. His face went rigid. Her oxygen saturation is dropping. 78%, 75. Heart rate is 145 and irregular. This is bad. He pulled out a stethoscope, listened to her chest. What he heard made his blood run cold. She's going into heart failure, active heart failure, right now. What? Margaret's voice broke. No, not now, please, not now. Dr. Hassan barked orders to the medical team. Get her inside. Bring the oxygen concentrator. I need the emergency medication kit. Now. They wheeled Arya inside quickly. She was barely conscious. Her lips were turning blue. Elon followed, his face white. What's happening? Her heart can't keep up anymore. The excitement, the travel, the stress, it pushed her over the edge. She needs a hospital, immediately. How long does she have? Dr. Hassan looked at him with terrible honesty. Without advanced medical intervention, hours, maybe less. Margaret collapsed against the wall, sobbing. We shouldn't have come. I killed my baby. I killed her for a light show. No, Arya whispered from the medical bed. Her voice was so faint they could barely hear her. No, Mom, I wanted this. Don't stop. Dr. Hassan put an oxygen mask over her face, turned the flow to maximum. Arya, sweetie, we need to get you to a hospital. There's one on Santorini. We can be there in 45 minutes. Arya pulled the mask down slightly. No, please, I want to see. You won't see anything if you die, Dr. Hassan said gently. Your heart is failing, Arya. I'm sorry, but this is life or death. Tears ran down Arya's face. She looked at Elon. Please, I just want to see it then. Hospital, please. Elon looked at Dr. Hassan. Can she survive a few more hours? I don't know, maybe not. Every minute we wait is a risk. But there's a chance. A very small chance. Elon looked at Arya, at her desperate, pleading eyes, then at Margaret. Dr. Chen, this is your daughter, your call. What do we do? Margaret sobbed. The worst decision any parent could face. Save your child's life, or give her one last moment of joy before she dies. At 5:45 p.m., Margaret made her choice. We go to the hospital now. I can't risk losing her. Not for anything. Arya cried out, Mom, please. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry, but I need you alive, even if you hate me for it. Elon nodded. Start the engines. Set course for Santorini General Hospital. Maximum speed. The crew rushed to comply. The engines roared to life. And then at 5:47 p.m., everything fell apart. The yacht's main engine made a horrible grinding sound, then stopped. Complete silence. An engineer ran up from below deck. The main engine is dead. It overheated. We pushed too hard with all the extra equipment weight. What about the backup engine? Elon demanded. It's running, but it's struggling. With the drone equipment still attached, we're too heavy. We can barely make 5 knots. How long to the hospital at 5 knots? Over 3 hours. Dr. Hassan's face went white. She doesn't have 3 hours. Elon grabbed his phone. I'm calling the Coast Guard. We'll get a helicopter. He made the call, spoke rapidly in English. Hung up. Coast Guard is coming. ETA 30 minutes. They'll airlift her to the hospital. But 30 minutes might as well have been 30 hours. By 6:00 p.m., news helicopters had spotted them. A stranded luxury yacht dead in the water. And someone recognized the vessel as chartered by Elon Musk. A tourist on a nearby boat filmed the scene. Coast Guard boats approaching. Helicopters overhead. People rushing around on deck. The tourist posted the video to TikTok with the caption, Elon Musk stranded ATC yacht emergency. The video went viral in minutes. 50,000 views, 500,000 views, 2 million views in an hour. Social media exploded with theories. Is Elon Musk broke? Can't afford to maintain his yacht? Probably another publicity stunt. Maybe Tesla is failing and he's fleeing the country. I heard the yacht was sabotaged, corporate espionage. News outlets picked up the story. CNN, BBC, Reuters, everyone. Breaking, Elon Musk stranded off Greek coast, details emerging. But no one knew about the dying girl below deck. No one knew about the underwater drones. No one knew about a promise made 5 years ago. They just saw chaos, drama, disaster. At 6:30 p.m., the Coast Guard arrived, but the sea had gotten rough. Wind had picked up. The helicopter couldn't land safely on the deck. They're lowering a basket, Elon said. They'll lift you up, Arya. You're going to be okay. But Arya wasn't responding anymore. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing was shallow and rapid. The oxygen mask fogged slightly with each weak breath. Dr. Hassan checked her pulse. She's fading fast. We're losing her. No, Margaret screamed. No, baby, stay with me, stay with me. The Coast Guard basket came down on a cable. 2 medics rode in it. They rushed to Arya immediately. One of them started CPR on her chest. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, 30 compressions, 2 breaths. Margaret collapsed screaming. Elon held her up. James kept filming, tears streaming down his face. This wasn't the story anyone wanted to capture. The news helicopters circled overhead, cameras rolling. They caught everything. The CPR, the chaos, the desperation. Millions of people watched in real time, not knowing who the girl was, just watching a tragedy unfold. At 6:47 p.m., after 17 minutes of CPR, Arya's heart started beating again. Weak, irregular, but beating. We have a pulse, the medic shouted. But no one filming from the helicopters knew what happened next. No one commenting on social media understood what Elon Musk did in the next 17 minutes. Because what happened next changed everything. Sofia Alvarez appeared at Elon's side. Her face was determined. The drones are still down there, still functional. Elon stared at her. What? The underwater drones. They're still in position, still operational. We couldn't launch the display because we lost power to the control system. But if we reroute emergency battery power. She's dying, Sofia. I know, that's why we need to do this, now. Elon looked at Arya, unconscious, barely alive, being prepared for helicopter transport. Then he looked at the sea, at the water where 12 drones waited silently in the depths. Can we activate them? He asked. We can activate them on emergency power. It'll drain everything. We won't get the full 30-minute show. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe less, but it'll work. Do it. What? Activate the drones right now. Dr. Hassan overheard. Are you insane? She needs to get to a hospital. She needs a reason to fight, Elon said. She came here to see something impossible. If she goes to that hospital without seeing it, she'll give up. I know she will. Margaret looked at him through her tears. You think a light show will save her? No, but hope might. He turned to Sofia. How fast can you activate it? 5 minutes, maybe less. Then do it fast. Sofia ran, her team scrambled, they rerouted cables, bypassed safety systems, activated emergency batteries. The Coast Guard medics strapped Arya to a stretcher. We need to go, now. 2 minutes, Elon said. Please, just 2 more minutes. She doesn't have 2 minutes. Please. Something in Elon's voice made them pause. Sophia shouted from the control station, "Activating now." She pressed a button on her tablet. Deep below the yacht in the crystal-clear waters of the Mediterranean Sea, 11 drones came to life. LED arrays lit up. Blues, greens, purples, containers opened. Millions of bioluminescent dinoflagellates flowed out, glowing like liquid stars. Someone lowered the waterproof camera on its cable. The monitor on deck flickered to life. And there on the screen was magic. The underwater world transformed. Curtains of light rippled through the water like the aurora borealis. Blues swirled into greens, purples danced with silver. The bioluminescent organisms glowed and pulsed, creating patterns that looked like galaxies being born. It was space, underwater, the cosmos brought down to the sea. Everyone on deck stopped, even the medics. They stared at the monitor. "My God," Dr. Hassan whispered. Margaret grabbed the tablet showing the camera feed. She held it close to Arya's face. "Baby," she sobbed. "Baby, look what he made for you." Arya's eyes fluttered, opened slightly. She saw the screen, saw the impossible beauty flowing across it. Tears leaked from her eyes, her lips moved. No sound came out, but Margaret could read them. Space, underwater. And something miraculous happened. On Dr. Hassan's monitor, Arya's heart rate stabilized. Not much, but enough. Her oxygen saturation ticked up, 2%, then 3. "What the?" Dr. Hassan stared at his equipment. "Her vitals are stabilizing. How is that possible?" "She has something to fight for," Elon said quietly. For 17 minutes, the underwater aurora danced. The drones pushed their emergency batteries to the limit. The bioluminescent organisms glowed with everything they had, and Arya watched, barely conscious, barely alive, but watching. At 7:04 p.m., the display began to fade. The batteries were dying. "That's all we have," Sophia said, tears streaming down her face. "That's all we can give her." But it was enough. Arya's vitals had stabilized enough for transport. The medics lifted her stretcher into the Coast Guard basket. Margaret climbed in beside her. Elon tried to join them, but there wasn't room. "I'll meet you at the hospital," he said. As the basket lifted, Arya's hand reached out. She was holding something, her purple notebook. She let it fall. Elon caught it. The basket rose into the sky. The helicopter rotors thundered. And Arya Chen, dying but not yet dead, was lifted toward the hospital. Elon opened the notebook. On the last page, in shaky handwriting, she'd written, "Thank you for showing me the cosmos. Even if I die, I saw something no one else ever has. That's enough. That's everything." Elon fell to his knees on the deck. Around him, the news helicopters still filmed. The viral videos still spread. The world still watched, not understanding anything. But those 17 minutes of underwater magic, those changed everything. July 23, 2024, 7:04 p.m., 7:21 p.m. The helicopter rose into the darkening sky, carrying Arya away. The sound of its rotors faded slowly. Elon stood on the deck, holding the purple notebook, watching until the lights disappeared over the horizon. The Coast Guard boats remained, circling the yacht. The news helicopters still hovered overhead, cameras rolling. The whole world was watching, but no one understood what they were seeing. Sophia approached Elon. Her face was streaked with tears. "Did we do the right thing? Should we have just let them take her immediately?" "I don't know," Elon said honestly, "but she got to see it. That's what matters." Dr. Tanaka joined them at the railing. "In all my years studying bioluminescence, I never imagined we could create something like that. It was like the universe came to visit." James lowered his camera. He'd filmed everything, the chaos, the CPR, the desperate scramble, and those 17 minutes of underwater magic. His hands were shaking. "This is the most important thing I'll ever film," he said quietly. "The world needs to see this, not the disaster, the reason behind it." Elon looked at him sharply. "No, not yet. The story isn't finished. But people think you're having some kind of crisis. The videos are everywhere. They're making fun of you, saying terrible things. I don't care what they say about me. This isn't about me. It's about Arya, and her story isn't over yet." A Coast Guard officer climbed aboard the yacht. He spoke in Greek-accented English. "Mr. Musk, we need to tow your vessel to port. Your engine is not safe. Also, there are many questions. The media wants statements. The Greek authorities need information." Tell them all to wait, Elon said. I'm going to the hospital. Sir, the hospital is very busy, perhaps in the morning. I'm going now. Get me a boat, please. The officer nodded. He understood. Whatever was happening here was bigger than regulations and procedures. 15 minutes later, Elon was on a Coast Guard boat racing toward Santorini. The Mediterranean had turned dark purple in the twilight. Stars were beginning to appear. He looked up at them, the real stars, the ones Arya would never reach. His phone buzzed constantly. Messages, calls, Devon, his PR team, news outlets, everyone wanted answers. He ignored them all except one message. From Devon, Tesla stock dropped 8% today. Board is panicking. They need you to make a statement. Elon typed back, tell them to wait. I'm busy keeping a promise. He arrived at Santorini General Hospital at 7:47 p.m. The building was small compared to American hospitals. White walls, blue trim. It sat on a hillside overlooking the sea. Inside, the emergency room was chaos. Margaret was in the waiting area, her face buried in her hands. When she saw Elon, she stood up. She's in surgery, Margaret said. Her voice was hollow, empty. They're trying to stabilize her heart. They said it's very bad, Elon. They said we should prepare for the worst. But there's a chance. The smallest chance. Her heart is so weak. The surgeon said it's a miracle she survived the helicopter ride. Elon sat beside her. For a long moment, neither spoke. I'm sorry, Elon finally said. I should have canceled. I should have realized the risk was too high. I was selfish. No, Margaret looked at him with red, swollen eyes. No, you weren't selfish. You gave my daughter something beautiful. You kept a promise when no one else would have. That's not selfish. That's love. I barely know her. You knew her enough. You saw her. Really saw her. Not as a dying girl, but as a person with dreams. Do you know how rare that is? They sat in silence, waiting. The clock on the wall ticked loudly. Each second felt like an hour. At 8:30 p.m., Elon's phone rang. It was Sophia. Elon, the videos are everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everyone's talking about the yacht disaster. But there's something else. Someone on a nearby tourist boat filmed the underwater display. Not much, just a few seconds from a distance. But they posted it. People are asking questions. What kind of questions? They're asking what the lights in the water were. Some people think it was a rescue operation. Others think it's some kind of military test. A few people are saying you've lost your mind. But Elon, some people are saying it looked beautiful. Elon rubbed his face. I can't think about that right now. I know, but James wants to release the full video, the whole story. He says people deserve to understand. Not yet, not until we know if Arya. He couldn't finish the sentence. I understand, but Elon, whatever happens, what we did today mattered. We created something impossible. They hung up. Margaret had heard part of the conversation. People are going to find out, she said. About Arya, about all of this. Is that okay with you? Margaret thought for a long moment. I don't know. Part of me wants to keep her private, keep her just ours. But another part thinks, if her story can help other kids, other families, then maybe her life means even more than we thought. At 9:15 p.m., a doctor emerged from surgery. He was Greek, probably in his 50s, with tired eyes. He spoke in accented English. Mrs. Chen, Mr. Musk. They jumped up. How is she? Margaret asked. The doctor's face was grave. Your daughter is alive for now. We managed to stabilize her heart rhythm, but I must be honest with you. Her condition is critical. Her heart is failing completely. Without a transplant very soon, she will not survive. Days, perhaps, maybe a week. Margaret's legs gave out. Elon caught her. Can we see her? Elon asked. She is unconscious, but yes, you may see her. Please come with me. They followed the doctor through white corridors. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. They passed other rooms with other families waiting for other miracles. Arya's room was small. A single bed, machines everywhere, monitors beeping, IV lines running into her thin arms. An oxygen mask covered her face. She looked so small, so fragile, like a ghost of the girl who'd sat in a cafeteria 5 years ago, showing him her rocket designs. Margaret went to her daughter's side. She took Arya's hand carefully, avoiding the IV lines. I'm here, baby, she whispered. Mom's here. Elon stood at the foot of the bed. He felt helpless. He could build rockets, he could revolutionize cars, he could dream of colonizing Mars, but he couldn't fix a 12-year-old's heart. "There's one more thing," the doctor said. "When we were working on her, she woke up briefly, just for a moment. She said something." "What did she say?" Margaret asked. "She said, 'I saw the stars underwater. Tell Elon thank you.' Then she lost consciousness again." Elon's vision blurred with tears. The doctor left them alone. Margaret sat beside her daughter, holding her hand, crying silently. Elon stood at the window looking out at the night. Outside, Santorini glowed with lights. Beautiful, peaceful, completely unaware that a little girl was dying in a hospital room. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Devon. "The videos have 50 million views now. People are demanding answers. What do I tell them?" Elon looked at Arya, at her pale face behind the oxygen mask, at the bracelet still on her wrist. Dreams don't need wings, just courage. He made a decision. He typed back to Devon, "Tell them nothing. I'll handle this myself tomorrow morning." Then he opened his X app. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. For years, he'd used social media to make announcements, launch products, make jokes, fight with critics, but this was different. This was the most important thing he'd ever say, but not yet. Not until he knew what happened to Arya. At midnight, Dr. Hassan arrived. He'd taken a boat from the yacht. He came straight to the hospital room. "How is she?" he asked. "Alive," Margaret said. "Barely." Dr. Hassan checked the monitors, read the charts. His face told them everything they needed to know. "The surgery bought her time, but not much. She needs a transplant immediately. Is she on the list?" "Yes," Margaret said, "but her blood type is rare, AB negative. The wait could be months. She doesn't have months." "She doesn't have weeks," Dr. Hassan said gently. They sat vigil through the night. Elon refused to leave. He sat in an uncomfortable chair, still holding Arya's purple notebook. At 3:17 a.m. something changed. The monitors started beeping faster. Arya's eyes opened, just slightly. She was conscious. "Mom," her voice was barely a whisper behind the oxygen mask. Margaret jumped up. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." "Did I see it or did I dream it?" "You saw it, sweetie. You saw the underwater aurora. It was real." A smile touched Arya's lips. It was beautiful, like the cosmos came to visit. Elon moved closer to the bed. "You did great, Arya. You were so brave." Arya's eyes found him. "Did I make it to 12? You're 12, you made it." "Good, that was the goal." Each word was an effort. "Elon." "Yes." "Can you do something for me?" "Anything." "Tell people about the underwater aurora. Other kids who can't see space, they could see this instead. Make it a thing, please." Elon's throat tightened. "I will, I promise." "Good, that's 2 promises you kept," she smiled. "You're good at promises." Her eyes closed again. The monitors stabilized. She was sleeping, not dying, but everyone in that room knew. Time was running out. As the sun rose over Santorini on July 24th, painting the sky pink and gold, Elon made his decision. He stepped into the hallway, pulled out his phone, opened the camera app. He recorded a video, just him, exhausted, sitting on a hospital floor. No script, no editing, just truth. "Hi, it's 6:23 a.m. here in Greece. I haven't slept. I want to tell you about the bravest person I've ever met." For 12 minutes, he told Arya's story. Everything. The meeting 5 years ago, the promise, the terminal heart disease, the secret underwater project. The chaos wasn't a disaster, it was a race against time. Yesterday, the world watched what looked like a disaster. A yacht stranded, emergency helicopters, chaos. But what you didn't see was why. You didn't see a dying girl fighting to witness something impossible. You didn't see the moment when science and hope and love created magic underwater. He showed footage from James's cameras, the underwater aurora, Arya's face as she watched it, the desperate CPR, the 17 minutes that changed everything. "I tried to give a dying child a glimpse of the cosmos, and for 17 minutes she got it. Was it worth the risk? I don't know, but she thinks it was. And her opinion is the only one that matters." He explained the technology, how it worked, how it could be used to bring wonder to people who couldn't travel, kids in hospitals, elderly people, anyone who needed to see something impossible. "Arya asked me to share this, to make it bigger than just her. So I'm asking you, if you're an engineer, a marine biologist, an entrepreneur, help me make this real. Help me bring underwater auroras to people who need them. Let's turn one girl's dream into 1,000 children's joy." He ended with a simple statement. Arya Chen is 12 years old. She loves rockets, stars, and mathematics. She's currently in Santorini General Hospital fighting for her life. She may not survive the week, but she saw something no human has ever seen before. And that's not nothing, that's everything. At 8:03 a.m., he posted the video to X, then he turned off his phone and went back to Arya's room. He had no idea what he just unleashed. July 24, 2024, 8:03 a.m., 8:00 p.m. The video hit the internet like a meteor strike. In the first hour, it got 5 million views. By the second hour, 15 million. By noon, it had reached 50 million people across every platform: X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit. It spread faster than any post Elon had ever made. But Elon didn't know any of this. His phone was off. He sat in a hospital room in Greece, holding the hand of a dying girl, completely unaware that the world was changing outside those walls. 8:47 a.m. Silicon Valley, California. Sofia Alvarez woke up to 847 notifications on her phone. Her inbox was flooded. Messages, emails, tags, mentions. She opened X and saw Elon's video at the top of her feed. "Oh my God," she whispered. She watched the whole thing, saw herself in the footage working on the drones, saw the underwater aurora that they'd created together, saw Arya's face. The comments were overwhelming. "I'm crying at my desk. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I judged him so hard yesterday. I'm so sorry. This man is a hero. That little girl is braver than any astronaut. Where can I donate to her medical fund? Can we make this technology available everywhere?" But there were other comments too. "This is a PR stunt. He put a sick kid at risk for publicity. Why didn't he just donate money for her medical care? This is performative. He should have taken her straight to the hospital. This is reckless." Sofia felt anger rise in her chest. She started typing responses, defending Elon, defending Arya, defending what they'd done. But there were too many comments. Thousands, tens of thousands. 9:15 a.m. Lagos, Nigeria. James Akoy sat in his apartment editing footage on his laptop. He'd been up all night. The raw footage from the yacht was incredible, heartbreaking, beautiful. His phone rang, his producer. "James, what the hell is happening? Everyone's calling me about this Elon Musk video. You're in it. You were there." "I was there," James said quietly. "I filmed everything." "And you didn't tell us. This is the biggest story of the year." "It's not a story, it's a life, a girl's life." "James, we need that footage. The full documentary. Release it now while the attention is hot." James looked at his screen, at Arya's face as she watched the underwater lights, at her mother crying, at Elon on his knees holding a purple notebook. "No," James said. "Not until I know if she lives or dies. This isn't content, it's a person. You're making a mistake. In a week, no one will care anymore." "Then they won't care. But I'm not exploiting a dying child for views." Then he opened his laptop and kept editing. When the time was right, the world would see the full story, but not yet. 10:30 a.m. Washington, D.C. In a congressional office, Senator Patricia Walsh watched Elon's video on her tablet. She was on the Senate Space and Technology Committee. She'd criticized Elon many times, called him reckless, irresponsible, too focused on Mars when Earth needed help. But as she watched this video, she cried. When it ended, she called her chief of staff. "Get me information on pediatric cardiac transplant waiting lists. I want to know how many kids are dying because they can't get hearts, and I want to know what we can do about it." "Senator, are you sure?" "Do it today. This little girl shouldn't be the only one who gets a miracle. Every kid deserves a chance." 11:45 a.m. Tokyo, Japan. Dr. Yuki Tanaka sat in her office at the Marine Science Institute, fielding calls from journalists. Everyone wanted to interview her about the bioluminescent display, how it worked, if it could be replicated. "Yes, it can be done again," she told a reporter from NHK. "With the right equipment and expertise, we could create underwater auroras in oceans around the world." "How much would it cost?" the reporter asked. "That depends on the scale, but honestly, less than you'd think. The technology is more accessible than people realize. Would you be willing to work on similar projects? Dr. Tanaka paused. She thought about Arya, about that little girl who just wanted to see something beautiful before she died. Yes, she said firmly. I'd work on this for free. In fact, I'm going to start reaching out to aquariums and research centers today. This should exist. This should be available to people who need wonder in their lives. After the interview ended, she opened her laptop and started writing emails. By the end of the day, she'd contacted 47 organizations in 12 countries. The movement was beginning. 1:20 p.m., Santorini, Greece. Elon finally turned his phone back on. It immediately exploded with notifications. Hundreds of them, thousands. His first instinct was to turn it off again, but he saw messages from Devon marked urgent. He stepped into the hallway and called her. Elon, thank God, where have you been? At the hospital, with Arya. What's happening? What's happening? Your video has been viewed by over 60 million people. It's the #1 trending topic globally. News outlets are covering it non-stop. The Tesla board has stopped complaining. Even your critics are praising you. Elon, this is the most positive press you've had in years. Elon felt sick. This wasn't supposed to be about press. I know, but that's what's happening, and there's more. People want to help. We've been flooded with offers. Engineers volunteering to build more drones. Marine biologists offering their expertise. Aquariums wanting to host installations. And Elon, donations. Donations. To Arya's medical fund. It was at $43,000 yesterday. It's at $4.2 million right now, and still climbing. Elon had to sit down on the hallway floor. 4 million. People want to help. They're inspired. Some are donating $1, some are donating thousands. There are messages with every donation. People saying Arya changed their perspective, that she reminded them what courage looks like. She doesn't know any of this. She's barely conscious. Maybe that's better. Let her rest. The world can wait. After hanging up, Elon scrolled through the responses to his video. The support was overwhelming, but so were the critics. He used a dying child for publicity. This is manipulation, emotional exploitation. If he really cared, he would have donated anonymously and not made a video. Each criticism stung, but then he saw other messages. I have a son with terminal cancer. Seeing Arya's courage gives us hope. I'm a marine biology student. Because of this, I want to dedicate my career to bringing beauty to people who need it. My daughter is in hospice. She's 8. Can someone please bring this underwater aurora to her? That last message broke him. He responded directly. Send me the details. We'll make it happen. 3:0 p.m. Los Angeles, California. Margaret's sister, Linda, sat in her living room in Los Angeles, watching the news. Every channel was covering the story. CNN. Elon Musk's viral video reveals dying girl's underwater dream. BBC. Technology meets compassion, the story behind the yacht emergency. Fox News. Billionaire keeps 5-year promise to terminally ill child. Linda called everyone she knew. Margaret's phone was off, so Linda called Margaret's friends, her co-workers at SpaceX, anyone who might relay messages. Tell her the whole world is praying for Arya. Tell her she's not alone. The messages came flooding in. Thousands of people offering prayers, support, hope. People from every country, every religion, every background. A little girl in Greece had united the world, at least for a moment. 4:30 p.m. Santorini General Hospital. A hospital administrator knocked on the door of Arya's room. Elon stepped into the hallway. Mr. Musk, we have a situation. What kind of situation? There are reporters outside. Dozens of them. They want to interview you. They want to see the girl. We're trying to keep them away, but the pressure is enormous. Tell them no, absolutely not. This girl deserves privacy. I understand, but there's something else. We've been contacted by several transplant centers, major hospitals in the United States, Germany, and France. They've all heard about Arya's case. They're reviewing her file. If a compatible heart becomes available anywhere in their networks, they'll prioritize her. Elon's heart leaped. Are you serious? Very serious. Your video created awareness. Now doctors around the world are looking for ways to help her. It's unprecedented. Thank you for telling me. Elon went back into the room. Margaret was dozing in a chair beside Arya's bed. Arya was still unconscious, her chest rising and falling with the help of machines. He sat down and opened his laptop. He started writing. Not a tweet, not a statement, something bigger. The Arya Chen Foundation. Mission: to create wonder for people who cannot chase it themselves. Goals: develop and deploy underwater aurora installations at aquariums and coastal locations worldwide. Fund pediatric cardiac research and treatment. Support children with terminal illnesses in experiencing moments of beauty and joy. Create a network of engineers, scientists, and volunteers dedicated to making impossible dreams possible. He worked on it for 2 hours, creating structure, defining goals, planning logistics. When he finished, he called Devon. I need you to set up a foundation today. I'm putting in $50 million as seed funding. I want it operational by next week. Devon didn't question it. I'll have the paperwork started immediately. What's it called? The Arya Chen Foundation. Does Arya know? No, and she might never know, but even if she doesn't make it, her legacy will. 6:00 p.m. Global response. By evening, the movement had grown beyond anything Elon could have imagined. In Australia, a marine biology team announced they'd begin testing underwater auroras in the Great Barrier Reef. In California, an aquarium in Monterey Bay pledged to create a permanent installation for children with terminal illnesses. In Norway, where the real aurora borealis danced in the sky, scientists proposed creating the world's first underwater aurora in the Arctic Ocean. Engineers worldwide started sharing designs. Open source, free to use, they called it the Arya Project. A hashtag emerged, Dreams Down Deep. People shared stories of loved ones who couldn't travel, who couldn't see the world, who needed beauty brought to them. One woman posted, "My mother has late-stage Alzheimer's. She's in a care home. She used to love the ocean. Could this technology visit her?" Sophia responded, "Yes, give me 6 months, we'll make it happen." Another person posted, "I'm wheelchair-bound. I've never been able to go snorkeling or diving. This technology would let me see the ocean in a way I never could otherwise." Dr. Tanaka responded, "You'll see it, I promise." The movement was organic, real, growing faster than anyone could control. 7:30 p.m. Arya's room. Arya woke up, her eyes opened slowly, the oxygen mask fogged with her breath. Margaret was instantly alert. "Baby, can you hear me?" Arya nodded slightly. "How do you feel?" Arya pulled the mask down an inch. Her voice was barely audible. "Tired, really tired." Elon moved to the bedside. "Hey Arya, you gave us quite a scare." Arya's eyes focused on him. "Did it work, the aurora?" "It worked perfectly. You saw it, remember?" A small smile touched her lips. "I remember. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "There's something else," Elon said gently. "Something you should know. Your story went viral. Millions of people have seen what we did. They're inspired by you." Arya's eyes widened slightly. "By me?" "By your courage, by your dream. People around the world are now working to create more underwater auroras for other kids, other people who need to see something beautiful." Tears rolled down Arya's cheeks. "Really? Really? You started something bigger than you know. You changed the world, Arya." "I just wanted to see the stars." "You did better than that. You brought the stars to Earth." Arya was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that made everyone in the room cry. "Then it's okay if I die now. It's okay, I did something. That matters." "You're not going to die," Margaret said fiercely, though she knew it might not be true. "Maybe not today," Arya said, "but soon. I can feel it. My heart is so tired." She looked at Elon again. "Thank you for everything. You kept your promise, both promises." "I'd do it again in a heartbeat." Arya smiled at the unintentional pun. "Heartbeat, that's funny. Mine's not very good." Even now, dying, she could make jokes. That was Arya. She closed her eyes again. Within minutes, she was asleep. Dr. Hassan checked her vitals. He motioned for Elon and Margaret to step into the hallway. "Her heart is failing faster," he said bluntly. "The transplant center's reaching out is wonderful, but unless a heart becomes available in the next 48 hours, she won't survive long enough for surgery." 48 hours, Margaret's voice broke. "Maybe less, I'm sorry, but you should prepare yourselves. The odds of a compatible heart becoming available that quickly are very slim." Margaret collapsed against the wall. Elon caught her, held her up. "Miracles happen," Elon said. "We saw one yesterday. Maybe we'll see another." But even as he said it, he didn't quite believe it. Outside the hospital, the sun was setting over Santorini. The sky turned orange, then purple, then dark blue. The stars came out. And somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, the underwater drones sat silently on the ocean floor, their batteries dead, their mission complete. They'd given a girl a glimpse of the cosmos. Now the world was watching to see if it was enough. July 24, 2024. 8:00 p.m. July 25, 2024. 11:00 p.m. The sun had set over Santorini. The hospital was quiet except for the steady beep of monitors. Margaret had finally fallen asleep in the chair beside Arya's bed, exhausted beyond measure. Elon sat by the window staring out at the darkness. His phone buzzed, a message from James Okoye. "Elon, I need to show you something. The full documentary is ready. 47 minutes, everything from start to finish. Before I release it, you and Margaret should see it. You have final say on whether it goes public." Elon looked at Margaret sleeping, at Arya barely breathing. Then he typed back, "Send it to me. I'll watch it now." 3 minutes later, a private link arrived. Elon put in his earbuds and pressed play. The documentary opened with waves, the sound of the Mediterranean Sea. Then James's voice, quiet and respectful. "This is the story of a promise, made 5 years ago between a billionaire and a dying 7-year-old girl. This is the story of what happened when that promise was kept." The footage showed the SpaceX cafeteria from 2019. James had gotten security camera footage. There was Arya, tiny and bright-eyed, showing Elon her notebook. The audio was faint, but you could hear her voice. "Why did you arrange the tiles like that near the nose cone?" Then a jump to 2024. Arya at 12, in a wheelchair, thin, pale, but still smiling, still curious. The documentary showed the planning, Sophia working on the drones, Dr. Tanaka explaining bioluminescence, the crew preparing the yacht, Elon making calls, coordinating, obsessing over every detail. Then the journey itself, Arya boarding the Cosmos Dream, her face when she saw Elon, the bracelet, the conversations on deck. James had captured intimate moments. Arya asking Elon about Mars, Elon confessing his fears about not changing the world fast enough. Arya saying, "You don't have to change the whole world, Mr. Musk, just mine, and you already did." Elon had to pause the video. He couldn't see through his tears. He wiped his eyes and continued. The documentary showed July 23rd, the drones being deployed, Arya's excitement, then her collapse, the terror on everyone's faces, Dr. Hassan performing CPR. The camera had captured everything, the Coast Guard arrival, the desperate scramble, Margaret screaming, the chaos, and then the underwater aurora. James had synchronized footage from multiple cameras, the underwater camera feed. Arya's face as she watched, the swirling blues and greens and purples beneath the sea, the moment when space and ocean became one. The footage showed Arya's lips moving, space, underwater. It showed her vitals stabilizing, not much but enough. It showed the basket lifting her away as the sun set. James's narration continued. For 17 minutes, the impossible became real. For 17 minutes, a dying girl saw wonder. And for 17 minutes, everyone watching understood what it means to keep a promise. The documentary ended with current footage. The hospital, the viral video, the global response, messages from people around the world. Children in hospitals saying Arya inspired them. Scientists pledging to continue the work. Families sharing their own stories of loss and hope. The final shot was Arya's purple notebook lying open on a table. Her childish handwriting visible. Dreams don't need space, just space to dream. James's voice one last time. Arya Chen is 12 years old. She may not survive the week, but she changed the world in 17 minutes, and that's not nothing, that's everything. The screen went black. Elon sat in silence for a long time, then he called James. "It's perfect," Elon said, his voice rough with emotion. "Release it." "Are you sure? It's very personal, very raw. The world needs to see it, not the edited version, the truth. Release it tomorrow morning." "Okay, I will, Elon." "Yeah. Thank you for letting me witness this. It's changed me, as a filmmaker, as a person." They hung up. July 25, 2024, 6:00 a.m. Athens, Greece. James uploaded the documentary to YouTube. He titled it simply, "The Promise, the Story of Arya Chen and the Underwater Aurora." He posted it at exactly 6:00 a.m. Greek time. Then he turned off his phone and went asleep. By the time he woke up 4 hours later, the documentary had been viewed 12 million times. 10:00 a.m. global response. The documentary spread even faster than Elon's original video. It was raw, unfiltered, real. News outlets couldn't look away. They played excerpts on morning shows, discussed it on talk radio, analyzed it on podcasts. CNN brought in a panel of medical ethicists to debate. Did Elon Musk make the right choice? Should they have gone straight to the hospital? The panel was divided. Dr. Susan Martinez, a pediatric oncologist. From a purely medical standpoint, the decision to delay was risky. But medicine isn't purely about physical health. It's about quality of life. Arya wanted to see something beautiful. They gave her that. I can't say it was wrong. Professor Harold Chen, a bioethicist. But she was a child, a dying child. She couldn't truly consent to that risk. The adults should have protected her, even from her own wishes. Dr. Martinez responded. She was dying anyway. What's the point of extending life by hours if those hours contain no joy? They gave her 17 minutes of magic. That might be worth more than 17 hours in a hospital bed. The debate raged online, but most people sided with Arya's choice. If I were dying at 12, I'd want one beautiful moment over a few extra days of suffering. She chose this. She literally begged them not to stop. That's her right. Elon gave her agency. He respected her wishes. That's love. 11:30 a.m. Santorini General Hospital. A doctor rushed into Arya's room. His face was flushed with excitement. "Mrs. Chen, Mr. Musk, we have news." Margaret jerked awake. What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Something's right. A heart has become available. In Athens, a teenage boy, 17 years old, died in a motorcycle accident last night. His family saw the documentary. They saw Arya's story. They've requested that their son's heart go to her if it's compatible." Margaret couldn't breathe. "Is it compatible?" "We're running the tests now. Blood type matches. Size is appropriate. If the tissue typing matches, we could have Arya in surgery by tonight." Elon stood up. "What are the odds?" "Of a tissue match? Maybe 30%, but we have to try. This is the miracle we needed." The doctor rushed out to coordinate with the Athens transplant team. Margaret looked at Arya, still sleeping. "Did you hear that, baby? You might get a heart. A real chance." Arya didn't wake. Her monitors beeped steadily. Weak but steady. 1:45 p.m. around the world. The news of the potential transplant spread instantly. People who'd been following Arya's story felt hope for the first time. Sophia posted on X, "Tissue typing results expected in 3 hours. Please, universe, let this work. Arya dream." The tweet was retweeted 200,000 times in 20 minutes. Dr. Tanaka posted, "Somewhere, a family is grieving their son and choosing to give life to a girl they've never met. That's humanity at its best." People around the world stopped what they were doing, waited, hoped. Churches held prayer services. Mosques, synagogues, temples. People of every faith and no faith at all sent hope toward a small hospital in Greece. 4:47 p.m. The results. The doctor returned. His face was unreadable. Margaret stood up. "Please, please tell me." "The tissue typing is. It's a match, not perfect, but close enough. We can do the transplant." Margaret collapsed. Elon caught her. They held each other, both crying. "When?" Elon asked. "The heart is being transported now by helicopter. It will arrive at 7:30 p.m. We'll begin surgery at 8:00 p.m. The operation will take approximately 6 hours. What are her chances? The doctor hesitated. Her heart is very weak. She's been declining for days. The surgery itself is high risk, but without it she has no chance. With it, maybe 40%, maybe 50. Those are better odds than she's had in years, Margaret said. The doctor nodded. I'll let you have time with her before we prep for surgery. She should be awake soon. You can explain what's happening. After he left, Elon posted a simple update on X. Arya Chen has a chance. A heart is on its way. Surgery tonight. If you pray, pray now. If you don't, send good thoughts. She needs all the help she can get. The post got 5 million likes in an hour. 6:30 p.m. Arya wakes. Arya's eyes opened. She looked confused at first, then focused on her mother's face. Mom, why are you crying? Margaret laughed through her tears. Happy tears, baby, such happy tears. Arya, sweetheart, a heart is coming. A real heart. You're getting a transplant tonight. Arya blinked. A heart for me. For you, a family lost their son yesterday. They saw your story. They saw the documentary. They asked that his heart go to you. Arya's eyes filled with tears. Someone died so I could live. Yes, sweetheart, that's how transplants work. What was his name? Margaret looked at Elon. Neither of them knew. I'll find out, Elon said. He stepped into the hallway and spoke to the doctor, came back a few minutes later. His name was Dimitris Pappas. He was 17. He wanted to be a pilot. Arya was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, if I live, I'll make sure people remember him. I'll make sure his life meant something. You already are, Elon said. His parents chose this because of you, because your courage inspired them to turn their tragedy into hope. Arya looked down at her chest, at her weak, failing heart. I'm scared. I know, Margaret said, but you're the bravest person I know. What if I die during surgery? Margaret's face crumpled. Then you die having seen something beautiful, having inspired millions of people, having changed the world. But Arya, I really, really need you to fight, to live, please. Arya reached for her mother's hand. I'll try, I promise I'll try. 7:30 p.m. preparation. The helicopter landed. The transplant team arrived. The heart was transported in a specialized cooler kept at the perfect temperature, preserved perfectly. Dr. Hassan spoke to Margaret and Elon outside the operating room. This is it. The next 6 hours will determine everything. I'll be assisting the surgeon. We have the best cardiac team in Greece here. If any 12-year-old can survive this, it's Arya. They wheeled Arya toward the operating room. She was awake, looking small and scared in the hospital bed. Wait, she said. They stopped. Mr. Musk, Elon. Elon came to her side. I'm here. If I don't make it, thank you for keeping your promise, for remembering me, for making me matter. You always mattered, Arya, from the moment I met you. And Mom. Margaret was sobbing too hard to speak. She just held her daughter's hand. I love you, Arya said. Even if I die, I love you, and I'm not scared anymore. I saw something beautiful. I'm ready. Don't talk like that, Margaret choked out. You're going to live, you have to live. The nurses began pushing the bed again, through the double doors, into the operating room. The doors swung shut, and Margaret collapsed in Elon's arms. 8:00 p.m. surgery begins. In the operating room under bright lights, surgeons prepared. They opened Arya's chest, saw her weak, struggling heart, the heart that had carried her for 12 years despite all its flaws. In the hallway, Margaret and Elon sat on hard plastic chairs. Devon had arrived from California. Sophia came from the Yacht. Dr. Tanaka, James, they all gathered, a vigil. Elon posted one more update. Surgery has begun. 6 hours from now, we'll know. Thank you for your prayers, hopes, and support. Arya would be overwhelmed by how much the world cares about her. Around the globe, people stopped, waited, hoped. In hospitals, sick children followed the updates. In homes, families gathered around phones and computers. In schools, teachers told students about the brave girl in Greece. The world held its breath. 11:43 p.m. complications. A surgeon emerged from the operating room. His face was grave. There are complications. Her body is rejecting the heart. We're giving her immunosuppressants, but her system is fighting us. The next hour is critical. He disappeared back inside. Margaret couldn't breathe. She's dying right now. She's fighting, Elon said. She's fought her whole life, she won't give up. 1:17 a.m., July 26, 2024, a decision. Inside the operating room, Arya's new heart struggled. It beat, but weakly. The rejection was severe. Dr. Hassan looked at the lead surgeon. We're losing her. I know, we've done everything we can. There's one more thing, experimental, not approved in Greece, but I've seen it work in the US. What is it? A new immunosuppressant protocol, combined with electrical stimulation of the vagus nerve. It sometimes shocks the body into accepting the organ. Do you have the medication? I brought it just in case, but if it doesn't work, we could kill her faster. The surgeon looked at the monitors, at Arya's failing vitals. She's dying anyway, try it. Dr. Hassan administered the experimental protocol. Then they waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. At 1:23 a.m. something changed. Arya's new heart strengthened. The rejection markers began to drop. It's working, Dr. Hassan whispered. My God, it's working. The heart beat stronger, steady, strong. For the first time in 12 years, Arya Chen had a healthy heart. 2:0 a.m. the announcement. The surgeon emerged. He was exhausted but smiling. She made it. The heart is beating. The rejection stopped. She's stable. Margaret screamed, a sound of pure joy and relief. She collapsed, crying so hard she couldn't breathe. Elon had to sit down. His legs wouldn't hold him. Sophia was crying. Dr. Tanaka was crying. James was crying. Everyone was crying. The surgeon continued. She's not out of danger yet. The next 72 hours are critical, but she has a chance now, a real chance. Elon pulled out his phone with shaking hands. He typed. 2:04 a.m. Arya's surgery was successful. Her new heart is beating. She's alive. Against all odds, she's alive. Thank you to everyone who hoped, prayed, and believed. Thank you to the Papa's family for their incredible gift. And thank you to Arya for teaching us what courage really means. He pressed send. Around the world, people woke to notifications, saw the news, and celebrated. Arya survived trended worldwide within minutes. In Australia, people cheered in the streets. In Nigeria, James's family danced with joy. In Japan, Dr. Tanaka's colleagues opened champagne at 9 a.m. The girl who saw the cosmos underwater had survived, at least for now. July 26, August 12, 2024. The first 72 hours were the hardest. Arya remained unconscious, her body fighting to accept the new heart. Machines breathed for her. Tubes carried medicine and nutrition. Monitors beeped constantly, tracking every vital sign. Margaret never left her side. She slept in the chair, ate hospital food, and prayed more than she'd prayed in her entire life. Elon stayed too for the first 3 days. He worked from the hospital waiting room, taking calls about Tesla and SpaceX between updates on Arya's condition. Devon brought him clean clothes. Sophia brought him food he barely touched. On July 29, 78 hours after surgery, something miraculous happened. Arya woke up. Her eyes opened slowly. The breathing tube was still in her throat, so she couldn't speak, but she was awake, aware. Margaret saw it first. Baby, oh my God, baby, can you hear me? Arya blinked, once for yes. You made it, you survived, you have a new heart, sweetheart, a strong, healthy heart. Tears leaked from Arya's eyes. The doctors came running. They checked her vitals, her responses, her neurological function. Everything was good, better than good. This is remarkable, Dr. Hassan said. Her recovery is faster than expected. The heart is functioning perfectly. 2 days later, they removed the breathing tube. Arya's first words were, "Did I miss anything?" Margaret laughed and cried at the same time. "Oh, baby, you missed everything and nothing. The whole world has been watching you." "Watching me?" "You went viral," Elon said, appearing in the doorway. "More viral than anything I've ever posted. And I've posted some pretty viral stuff." Arya smiled. It was weak, but it was real. How viral? "The documentary has 200 million views. Your story has been covered by every news outlet on the planet. World leaders have mentioned you. The Pope sent a message. You're kind of a big deal." Arya looked overwhelmed, "But I didn't do anything special." "You survived," Margaret said simply. against impossible odds, and you inspired millions of people along the way. Over the next week, Arya grew stronger. Physical therapy started. She could sit up in bed, then stand with help, then walk a few steps. Her new heart was strong, so strong. For the first time in her life, she could breathe easily. Her skin had color. The dark circles under her eyes began to fade. "How does it feel?" Dr. Hassan asked during one examination. Arya thought about it. "Like I've been living underwater my whole life and someone finally brought me to the surface. Everything is clearer, easier, better." That's a good description. Your new heart is pumping at 90% efficiency. For someone your age, that's excellent. Will I be able to run, to play, to do normal kid things? In time, yes. You'll need to take immunosuppressant medications for the rest of your life, and you'll need regular checkups. But yes, Arya, you can have a normal life now. Arya started crying. A normal life, I never thought I'd have that. August 2, 2024, The Visitor. There was a knock on Arya's hospital room door. A Greek woman entered, maybe 50 years old, with kind eyes and graying hair. "Hello," she said in accented English. "My name is Elena Pappas." Margaret stood up immediately. "Mrs. Pappas, oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so grateful. I don't know what to say." Elena smiled sadly. "You don't need to say anything. I wanted to meet the girl who has my son's heart." Arya looked at her with wide eyes. "Your son, Demetrius." "Yes, my Demetrius." Elena came closer to the bed. "May I?" She placed her hand gently on Arya's chest, felt the heartbeat, closed her eyes. "It's him," she whispered. "I can feel him, still here, still alive in a way." Tears streamed down her face. "He was a good boy. He loved flying. He wanted to be a pilot. He had his whole life ahead of him." "I'm so sorry," Arya said, crying too. "I'm so sorry he died." "Don't be sorry. What happened was an accident, senseless, but this," she kept her hand on Arya's chest. "This gives his death meaning, you give his death meaning." "I promise I'll make it matter," Arya said. "I promise I'll live a life worth his sacrifice." Elena smiled through her tears. "I know you will. I saw the documentary. I saw your courage. My Demetrius would have liked you. You're brave like he was." They talked for an hour. Elena told stories about Demetrius, his love of airplanes, his dreams of seeing the world from above, his kindness, his humor. Arya listened to every word, memorizing them. This was the boy who saved her life. She would carry his memory forever. Before Elena left, she gave Arya a gift, a small airplane charm on a silver chain. "This was his," Elena said. "He wore it always. Now I want you to have it, so a part of him travels with you wherever you go." Arya clutched the charm. "Thank you. I'll wear it every day, I promise." After Elena left, Arya looked at Elon. "I want to learn to fly, someday, for Demetrius." "Then you will," Elon said. "I'll teach you myself." August 8, 2024, Going home. After 18 days in the hospital, Arya was finally cleared to leave. She could walk on her own now, slowly, carefully, but independently. The doctors were amazed by her recovery. "You're a miracle," Dr. Hassan said. "In all my years, I've never seen someone bounce back this fast." "I have a good reason to live," Arya said simply. "A lot of people are counting on me." The hospital arranged a private exit to avoid the media circus. But somehow, word got out. When Arya was wheeled outside, dozens of people were waiting. Not reporters, regular people, families with sick children, elderly couples, young adults, people of every age and background. They held signs. "Arya, you inspire US. Dreams down deep. Thank you for your courage." Arya was overwhelmed. "Who are all these people?" "They're here for you," Margaret said. "They've been waiting all morning." A woman approached with a little girl in a wheelchair. The girl was maybe 6 years old, bald from chemotherapy. "Arya, my daughter Sophia has leukemia. When she watched your story, she stopped being scared. You showed her what bravery looks like. Thank you." Arya reached out and took Sophia's hand. "You're brave too, braver than me. Keep fighting, okay?" Sophia nodded, smiling. One by one, people came forward, sharing stories, saying thank you. Some cried, some laughed. All of them were changed by this 12-year-old girl who'd seen the cosmos underwater. Elon stood back, watching. Sophia was beside him. "You did this," Sophia said. You kept a promise and it changed everything." "No," Elon said. "Arya did this. I just provided the technology, she provided the inspiration." August 10, 2024, the surprise. Arya was staying at a hotel in Santorini with her mother, recovering before the long flight home to California. She was sitting on the balcony, looking at the sea, when there was a knock at the door. Elon entered, carrying a package. "I have something for you." "Another gift? You've given me too much already." "This one is special, trust me." He handed her the package. It was surprisingly heavy. Arya opened it carefully. Inside was a small container with an official NASA seal and a letter. Arya read the letter aloud. "Dear Arya Chen, we at NASA have followed your story with great admiration. Your courage and passion for space exploration embody the spirit of every astronaut and scientist who has contributed to our mission. Enclosed is a sample of lunar regolith, moon dust, collected during the Artemis II mission in 2024. This material is over 4 billion years old, formed in the early days of our solar system. Additionally, we are honored to inform you that the next Mars rover, scheduled to launch in 2026, will carry your name. A plaque reading, 'In honor of Arya Chen, who dreamed bigger than the stars,' will be affixed to the rover's side. You may never walk on Mars, Arya, but a part of you will reach it. Your dreams will touch another planet. With deepest respect, Bill Nelson, NASA Administrator." Arya couldn't speak. She held the container of moon dust with shaking hands. "I'm touching the moon," she finally whispered. "I'm actually touching the moon." Margaret was crying again. She'd cried more in the past month than in her entire life. "And you're going to Mars," Elon added. "Well, your name is. That's pretty close." Arya held the container up to the light. The lunar dust sparkled, billions of years old, from another world. "Elon," she said quietly. "Yeah. Remember 5 years ago, when I said I'd never see Earth from space?" "I remember. I was wrong. I might not see it with my eyes, but my name will be on Mars. My story reached the whole Earth. In a way, I did make it to space, just differently than I imagined." She looked at him with tears streaming down her face. "You gave me more than I ever asked for, so much more." Elon knelt beside her chair. "You gave me something too, Arya. You reminded me why I do this. Not for money, not for fame, but because somewhere there's always a kid looking up at the stars, dreaming, and those kids deserve to have their dreams come true." Arya hugged him, a real hug, strong and fierce, her new heart beating steadily in her chest. "Thank you," she said, "for everything, for remembering me, for keeping your promise, for making me matter." "You always mattered," Elon said. "You just needed the world to see what I saw 5 years ago, a girl who understood what it means to reach for the impossible." August 12, 2024, the promise to others. On her last day in Greece, Arya insisted on going back to the water, back to the spot where the underwater aurora had happened. They took a boat out. Arya, Margaret, Elon, Sophia, Dr. Tanaka, James, and Dr. Hassan, the core team who'd made the impossible real. The sea was calm, crystal blue, perfect. Arya sat at the edge of the boat looking down into the water. The drones were gone now, recovered and being studied, but the memory remained. "Can we do it again?" Arya asked. "The underwater aurora, for other people." Dr. Tanaka smiled. "We're already working on it. 5 aquariums around the world are building installations. The first one opens next month in Monterey Bay. And we're developing portable systems," Sophia added. "Small enough to bring to hospitals, to hospice centers, to anywhere people need to see something beautiful." "The Arya Chen Foundation is funding it all," Elon said. "We've raised over $80 million so far, all dedicated to bringing wonder to people who need it." Arya was quiet for a moment. Then she pulled out the airplane charm Elena had given her. She held it over the water. "What are you doing?" Margaret asked. "Making a promise to Demetrius, to everyone who helped me, to everyone still waiting for their miracle." She closed her eyes and spoke clearly. "I promise to live a life worth this gift. I promise to help other kids who are sick and scared. I promise to make sure Demetrius's sacrifice means something. And I promise to keep reaching for the impossible, no matter how hard it gets." She opened her eyes. "I can't be an astronaut, but I can be someone who makes sure other kids' dreams come true. That's my mission now." "That's a good mission," Elon said. Arya lowered her hand, the charm still clutched in her palm. "Let's go home. I have a lot of work to do." As the boat headed back to shore, Arya looked back at the water one more time. She thought she saw a shimmer of blue-green light beneath the surface, just for a moment. A reminder of the impossible thing that had saved her life. A reminder that magic was real if you were brave enough to chase it. That evening, the final post. Before leaving Greece, Arya asked Elon to help her make a video. Just her, sitting on the hotel balcony, the Aegean Sea behind her. She posted it to X from Elon's account. "Hi, I'm Arya Chen. I'm 12 years old and 3 weeks ago I almost died, but I didn't. I survived because of amazing doctors, incredible technology, and a family I never met who turned their tragedy into my miracle. A lot of people have called me brave, but I'm not brave. I'm just a kid who wanted to see something beautiful before I died. The real brave people are my mom, who fought for me every single day. The doctors who saved my life. Alina Pappas, who gave me her son's heart. And Elon Musk, who kept a promise to a 7-year-old when no one would have blamed him for forgetting. I learned something these past few weeks. Dreams don't need wings. They don't need rockets or money or even time. They just need courage. The courage to ask for what seems impossible. The courage to believe it might happen. The courage to keep fighting even when everything says to give up. If you're sick right now, if you're scared, if you think your life doesn't matter, I want you to know something. You matter. Your dreams matter. Your life matters. Don't give up. The world needs you. I'm going home to California tomorrow. I'm going to finish school. I'm going to learn to fly airplanes. I'm going to work with the Arya Chen Foundation to bring underwater auroras to kids who need them. Someday I'm going to watch a Mars rover with my name on it land on another planet. 5 years ago I thought I'd be dead by 12, but I'm not. I'm alive. I have a strong heart, and I have a mission to make sure every kid who's suffering knows that miracles are possible. Thank you to everyone who hoped for me, prayed for me, believed in me. You saved my life just as much as the doctors did. Dreams down deep. That's what we call it. When you bring wonder to people who can't chase it themselves. That's what I want my life to be about now. See you all soon. I have a lot of living to do." The video was viewed 150 million times in the first 24 hours. And around the world, sick children watched it and felt hope for the first time in months. One girl's dream had become a million children's inspiration. August 19, 2024, 3:17 a.m. Los Angeles, California. The phone call came in the darkest part of the night. Elon was in his home office in Austin, working on Starship designs when his phone lit up. Margaret's name appeared on the screen. His heart stopped. No one called at 3 a.m. with good news. "Margaret," he answered immediately. Silence. Then crying, deep, wrenching sobs. "No," Elon whispered. "No, please no." "She's gone," Margaret finally managed. "My baby is gone. She died 20 minutes ago, peacefully, in her sleep. But she's gone, Elon, she's gone." Elon couldn't breathe. What happened? The transplant was successful. She was getting better. Her body rejected the heart. Sudden, unexpected. She started having symptoms yesterday evening. We rushed her to UCLA Medical Center. They tried everything, but it was too fast, too aggressive. There was nothing they could do. Margaret's voice broke completely. She was awake at the end. She knew what was happening. Her last words, she sobbed. Her last words were, "Tell everyone dreams don't need space, just space to dream." Elon sat down hard. The room spun around him. "I'm so sorry," he said, tears streaming down his face. "Margaret, I'm so sorry. She asked for you, at the end. She wanted me to tell you thank you. She said you gave her the best 21 days of her life, from the yacht until now. She said she got to live more in 3 weeks than most people do in 80 years. They stayed on the phone for an hour, sometimes talking, sometimes just crying together. Two people connected by a promise and a purple notebook and a girl who changed everything. When they finally hung up, Elon sat in his office as the sun began to rise over Texas. He opened his laptop and started typing. Not a tweet, not a press release, a letter to Arya, even though she'd never read it. 6:00 a.m. the announcement. Elon posted a simple message on X. Arya Chen passed away peacefully at 7:17 a.m. on August 19, 2024, surrounded by family. She was 12 years old. She survived 21 days with her new heart, 21 days of life, joy, and purpose. Her last words were, "Tell everyone dreams don't need space, just space to dream." Arya changed my life. She changed the world. She reminded us all what courage looks like, what hope looks like, what it means to live fully even when time is short. A memorial service will be held in her honor, details to follow. The Arya Chen Foundation will continue her mission, bringing wonder to people who cannot chase it themselves. Rest in peace, Arya. The stars are yours now. Within minutes, the news spread across the globe. People who'd followed her story felt like they'd lost someone they knew, someone they loved. The responses poured in. She fought so hard, she deserved more time. 21 days with a new heart, 21 days of real life, that's something. I'm devastated but also grateful. She taught us so much. Her story changed my life. I'll never forget her. World leaders posted condolences. NASA released a statement. The Pope sent prayers. Celebrities, scientists, teachers, children, everyone mourned. Thank you, Arya trended worldwide. August 25, 2024, the funeral. The funeral was held on a boat off the coast of Santorini. Arya had requested it in her final days. She wanted to return to the place where she'd seen the impossible. The day was perfect, clear blue sky, calm sea, as if nature itself was paying respect. The boat was small, carrying only 50 people, family, close friends, the team who'd made the underwater aurora possible, and surprisingly, dozens of children with terminal illnesses from around the world. Families had flown in at their own expense. Kids in wheelchairs, kids with oxygen tanks, kids who understood exactly what Arya had gone through. Margaret stood at the front of the boat holding a small urn. Inside were Arya's ashes. She wore black, but around her neck was Arya's bracelet. Dreams don't need wings, just courage. Elena Pappas was there too, standing beside Margaret. Two mothers connected by unimaginable loss. Elon spoke first. His voice was rough with emotion. 5 years ago, I met a 7-year-old girl in a cafeteria. She showed me a rocket design and told me my heat shield tiles were arranged wrong. She was right, by the way. People laughed softly through their tears. But more than that, she showed me something I'd forgotten. That changing the world isn't about Mars or AI or electric cars. It's about keeping promises to a 7-year-old girl who believed in the impossible. He paused, struggling to continue. Arya lived 12 years. Most of those years were hard, painful, filled with hospital visits and medications and limitations. But in her last 21 days, she lived more fully than most people do in a lifetime. She saw something no human had ever seen. She inspired millions. She created a foundation that will help thousands of kids. She touched another world. He held up the container of moon dust. NASA sent this to her. Moon rocks, 4 billion years old. Arya held these in her hands. She touched the moon, and in 2026 her name will land on Mars. He looked out at the sea. People ask me if it was worth it, the risk, the chaos, the yacht disaster, and I say yes, absolutely yes, because Arya got to see magic, because she got to know in her final days that her life mattered, that she mattered, and that's worth everything. Sophia spoke next, then Dr. Tanaka, then James, then Dr. Hassan, each sharing memories, each crying. Then a 6-year-old girl in a wheelchair raised her hand. Her name was Sophia, the leukemia patient who'd met Arya outside the hospital. "Can I say something?" she asked shyly. "Of course, sweetheart," Margaret said. Sophia's mother wheeled her forward. She spoke in a small, clear voice. "Arya told me to be brave. She told me to keep fighting. Because of her, I'm not scared anymore. When I get my treatments, I think about her, about the underwater stars, and it helps." She looked at Margaret. "Thank you for sharing her with us. She was my hero." Every parent on that boat was crying. Finally, Margaret spoke. She could barely get the words out. "My daughter was extraordinary, not because she was sick, not because she survived, but because she never stopped dreaming, never stopped hoping, never stopped believing that impossible things could happen." She opened the urn. Arya asked that her ashes be scattered here, where the underwater aurora happened, so she could always be part of something beautiful. Margaret scattered the ashes into the sea. They drifted on the wind, sparkling in the sunlight before settling on the water. "Goodbye, baby," Margaret whispered. "Thank you for letting me be your mom." But then something unexpected happened. Sophia pulled out a tablet. "We have one more surprise. We've been working on this in secret." She pressed a button. Deep below the boat, the underwater drones activated. New ones fully charged, waiting for this moment. The water began to glow, blues, greens, purples, silvers. The underwater aurora came to life one more time, more beautiful than before, more vibrant, more alive, but there was something else, something no one expected. Above them in the clear Greek sky, a phenomenon appeared. Thin, delicate curtains of light, pale green and pink, the aurora borealis in Greece, in August. Where it almost never appeared. Dr. Tanaka stared up in shock. That's impossible. The aurora shouldn't be visible here, not at this latitude, not in summer." But there it was, the northern lights dancing over the Mediterranean Sea. Above and below, sky and sea, both glowing with impossible light. The children gasped. The adults stared in wonder. "It's Arya," Sophia whispered. "She's saying goodbye." For 17 minutes, exactly 17 minutes, the aurora danced in the sky and sea. Then slowly it faded. The sky returned to blue, the sea returned to calm, but everyone on that boat knew they'd witnessed something beyond science, beyond explanation. They'd witnessed magic. James had filmed everything. His hands shook as he lowered the camera. "That footage will never leave my possession," he said quietly. "That was sacred. That was her." September 2024, 1 month later. The video of the funeral, carefully edited by James, was released to the public. Not the aurora that remained private for the people who'd been there, but the speeches, the tributes, the love. It was viewed 200 million times, but more importantly, it sparked action. The Arya Chen Foundation, now with over $100 million in funding, began its work in earnest. 3 underwater aurora installations opened simultaneously. Monterey Bay Aquarium, California. Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, Australia. Oslo Fjord, Norway. Each installation was free to visit. Each was designed specifically for people who couldn't travel easily. Wheelchairs, hospital beds, everything accessible. Hundreds of children experienced their first underwater aurora in September alone. A girl with muscular dystrophy in California wept as she watched the lights dance beneath the water. "It's like heaven," she said. "Like heaven came to visit." A boy with terminal brain cancer in Australia recorded a message. "Arya, if you can hear me, thank you. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." An elderly woman in Norway dying of heart failure held her daughter's hand as they watched together. "I'm ready now," she said peacefully. "I saw something beautiful, that's enough." October 15, 2024, the asteroid. NASA made an announcement. Minor planet 12,859, discovered in 1998, has been officially named 12,859 Aryachin, in honor of Arya Chen. This asteroid, located in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, will carry her name for eternity. Margaret received the certificate in the mail. She hung it in Arya's bedroom, which she'd kept exactly as her daughter left it. Purple notebook on the desk, airplane charm on the dresser, moon dust on the shelf, a shrine to a girl who'd touched the stars. November 2024, the Foundation's first project. The Arya Chen Foundation announced its first major medical initiative, funding 10 pediatric cardiac transplant surgeries for children who couldn't afford them. Arya got her miracle because of Alina Papaz's incredible gift, Elon said at the press conference. But thousands of kids are still waiting, still hoping. This foundation will help as many as we can. Additionally, the foundation partnered with medical schools to fund research into pediatric heart disease, to find better treatments, better outcomes, so fewer children had to suffer like Arya did. December 2024, the school project. A middle school in California started a program called Dreams Down Deep. Students learned about Arya's story. Then they identified people in their community who needed wonder brought to them. One class organized an underwater aurora viewing for a hospice center. Another class built a small-scale version for their local children's hospital. A third class raised money to help a disabled veteran experience scuba diving through adaptive equipment. The movement spread to other schools, other cities. Other countries. Arya's dream had become the world's mission. Christmas 2024, Margaret's letter. On Christmas Eve, Margaret sat in Arya's room and wrote a letter to her daughter, to the universe, to anyone who needed to hear it. She posted it online. Dear Arya, it's been 4 months since you left. 4 months of missing you so much I can barely breathe, but also 4 months of watching your legacy grow into something beautiful. 427 children have experienced underwater auroras because of you. 10 kids have received heart transplants through your foundation. Your name is on an asteroid. It will be on Mars. Schools teach about you. Kids draw pictures of you. You changed the world, baby. I'm so proud of you. Not because you survived as long as you did, not because you became famous, but because you never stopped being kind, brave, hopeful. You taught me that life isn't measured in years, it's measured in moments of courage, moments of beauty, moments of love. You had 12 years, but you lived them fully, more fully than most people live 80 years. I miss you every second of every day, but I'm grateful, so grateful I got to be your mom, so grateful you chose to fight. So grateful for every moment we had. The world is better because you were in it, and I am better because you were my daughter. Merry Christmas, baby. I hope heaven has underwater auroras. I hope you're flying with Demetrius. I hope you're finally at peace. I love you forever, Mom. The letter was shared millions of times. People responded with their own stories of loss and hope and love. January 10, 2025, 5 years later. Exactly 5 years after Elon's reminder about the promise, he returned to Santorini, alone this time. He took a boat out to the spot where it had all happened, where a dying girl had seen the cosmos underwater, where she'd fought for 21 more days of life. He scattered flowers on the water, blue and purple flowers, Arya's favorite colors. I kept my promise, he said to the sea. Both of them. I showed you something impossible, and now I'm making sure it continues. For every kid who needs it. He pulled out his phone, opened a folder of photos. Arya at 7 showing him her notebook. Arya at 12 watching the underwater aurora. Arya smiling despite her oxygen tube. You asked me what I'd tell you about Earth from space, he said. About what it looks like, what it feels like. He looked up at the sky, where stars were beginning to appear. I never made it to space to see it for you, but you showed me something better. You showed me that Earth, seen through the eyes of someone who truly appreciates it, is more beautiful than any view from orbit could ever be. You were right about something else too. You said I didn't have to change the whole world, just yours, but Arya, you changed mine, and that changed everything. The sea was calm, the sky was darkening, and somewhere deep below the surface, dormant drones waited for the next time they'd bring wonder to someone who needed it. Elon stayed until the stars came out, all of them, millions of them. The stars are yours now, he whispered. All of them, forever. July 23, 2025. Santorini, Greece. The boat arrived at the exact coordinates where the Cosmos Dream had anchored 1 year ago, where chaos had turned into magic, where a promise had been kept. This time there were 5 boats, 60 people, children, families, scientists, volunteers, all gathered for the first annual Arya's Dream Day. Margaret stood at the bow of the lead boat, wearing the bracelet that had once belonged to her daughter. The morning sun caught the silver, making it gleam. Beside her stood Elena Pappas, holding a photo of Demetrius, 2 mothers forever connected by love and loss. Are you ready? Elena asked softly. Margaret nodded, unable to speak. Around the world, simultaneous events. At precisely 10:00 a.m. Greek time, 127 underwater aurora events began in 34 countries. In Monterey Bay, California, 50 children from the local children's hospital pressed their faces against the aquarium glass. Below them, the water transformed into flowing curtains of blue and green light. A boy named Marcus, 8 years old, undergoing chemotherapy for brain cancer, gasped. Mom, look, it's just like Arya said. It's space underwater. His mother held him close, crying happy tears. In Sydney, Australia, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park hosted 200 people, many in wheelchairs, many with oxygen tanks, many who couldn't travel far from medical care. When the underwater drones activated, painting the coral reef with bioluminescent light, an elderly woman named Grace whispered to her granddaughter, I'm 93 years old. I've seen so much, but I've never seen anything like this. That little girl gave me one more miracle. In Oslo, Norway, where the real aurora borealis danced in winter skies, the fjord lit up with its underwater counterpart. Norwegian and refugee children stood together, watching in wonder. A Syrian girl named Amira, who'd fled war and lost her parents, said in broken English, "Arya knew what it felt like to fight, to be scared, but she still dreamed. If she could dream, so can I." In Tokyo, at a special installation in the Marine Science Institute, Dr. Yuki Tanaka gave a presentation to 300 students before the display. "Science is not just about understanding the world," she said. "It's about creating wonder, about making impossible things possible. That's what Arya taught us. That's her gift to the world." When the aurora activated, the students cheered. Some cried. All of them understood they were part of something bigger than themselves. Back in Santorini. At 11:00 a.m., the ceremony began. Sofia Alvarez stood beside the control tablet. The new drones, stronger, more advanced, more beautiful than the originals, were positioned perfectly below them. "1 year ago today," Sofia said, her voice carrying across the boats through a speaker system, "we attempted something that shouldn't have worked. We tried to bring the cosmos underwater. We tried to show a dying girl that dreams could come true, even when time was running out." She paused, looking at the children on the boats. Kids with cancer, heart disease, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, all of them here because Arya's story had given their families hope. It did work. For 17 minutes, magic was real, and that 17 minutes changed everything. She pressed a button on the tablet. The drones activated, but this time was different. This time, the technology had evolved. The underwater display was more sophisticated. The lights didn't just swirl, they formed shapes, patterns, images. First, a rocket, Arya's childhood dream. Then a heart, the organ that had failed her but also the one that had given her 21 precious days. Then stars, countless stars glowing and pulsing beneath the Mediterranean Sea. Finally, words appeared in the water, formed by carefully controlled LED arrays and bioluminescent organisms. "Dreams don't need space, just space to dream." Arya Chen. Every person on those boats was crying. A girl named Lily, 10 years old with terminal leukemia, turned to her parents. "I'm not scared anymore. Arya showed me that even if my life is short, it can still be beautiful." Her father held her close, unable to speak. Margaret's speech. When the underwater display settled into a gentle, swirling aurora, Margaret stood to speak. Her voice was stronger than anyone expected. "1 year ago, I watched my daughter die. Then I watched her come back to life. Then I watched her die again, this time for good. It was the worst experience of my life, but it was also the most beautiful." She looked out at the sea, at the glowing water below. Arya lived 12 years. Most of those years were hard. She spent more time in hospitals than playgrounds. She never got to run without getting tired. She never got to do the things normal kids do, but she never complained. She just kept dreaming. Margaret's voice cracked, but she continued. "When Elon Musk called me in January of last year, asking to fulfill a 5-year-old promise, I almost said no. I thought it was too risky, too dangerous. Why risk her life for a light show?" She wiped her tears. But Arya wanted it. She begged me. And I realized something: she was dying anyway. The question wasn't whether she'd die, but whether she'd die having lived, really lived. Those 21 days after the transplant, those were the happiest days of her life. She was strong, energetic, full of plans. She talked about learning to fly, about going to college, about becoming a scientist. She had hope. Margaret looked directly at the children on the boats. "You all have something hard to carry, something unfair, something that makes you different from other kids. But you're here today because Arya's story showed you that your life matters, that your dreams matter, that even if your time is short, it can still be meaningful." She held up the purple notebook, Arya's notebook, now preserved in a protective case. "My daughter filled this with rocket designs, with dreams, with impossible ideas. Some of them were childish, some of them were brilliant. All of them mattered because she believed they mattered." The Arya Chen Foundation now has $143 million in funding. We've helped 2014 children experience underwater auroras. We've funded 37 pediatric cardiac surgeries. We've supported 128 families facing terminal illnesses, and we're just getting started. Margaret's voice rose with passion. This isn't just about Arya anymore. It's about every child who dreams, every family that fights, every person who refuses to give up, even when the odds are impossible. She looked at Elon, who stood at the back of the boat, letting Margaret have this moment. Elon Musk kept a promise to my daughter. Now I'm making a promise to all of you. As long as I'm alive, as long as this foundation exists, we will fight for your dreams. We will create wonder for you. We will make sure your lives matter. The applause was thunderous, not just from the boats, but from people watching via live stream around the world. The ceremony was being broadcast globally with 50 million viewers. The children speak. After Margaret, something unexpected happened. One by one, children stood to speak, not because it was planned, but because they needed to. A boy named Chen from Beijing spoke through a translator. I have the same last name as Arya, Chen. In Chinese, it means morning or dawn. Arya was a dawn. She brought light to darkness. Because of her, I know my life can bring light too. A girl named Isabella from Brazil spoke in Portuguese. Eu tenho 8 anos. Os médicos dizem que tenho 2 anos de vida. Mas Arya me ensino que 2 anos pode mudar o mundo. I'm 8 years old. Doctors say I have 2 years to live, but Arya taught me that 2 years can change the world. A boy named James from Kenya said simply, Arya proved that Africa can dream too. That poor kids can dream too. That sick kids can dream too. She proved that dreams don't care about where you're from or how much money you have. Dreams just need courage. By the time 10 children had spoken, there wasn't a dry eye on any boat. Elon's reflection. Finally, Elon came forward. He'd been quiet all morning, letting others have the spotlight. But now he needed to say something. I've built rockets, he began. I've built cars that run on electricity. I've built tunnels under cities. I've started companies that seemed impossible. People call me a visionary, an innovator, a genius. He paused. But none of that taught me as much as a 7-year-old girl with a purple notebook who told me my heat shield tiles were arranged wrong. Laughter rippled through the boats. Arya taught me that innovation isn't about technology, it's about people. It's about making their lives better, making their dreams possible, making them feel seen and valued. He looked at the water, at the glowing aurora below. I spend billions of dollars trying to get humanity to Mars, but Arya showed me that sometimes the most important mission is helping one person see something beautiful right here on Earth. 5 years ago, I made a promise. I thought I was doing something nice for a sick kid. I had no idea she'd change my entire perspective on what matters. Elon's voice grew thick with emotion. People ask me all the time, when are you going to Mars? When are you going to colonize space? And I always answer, as soon as possible. But now I think about it differently. We're going to Mars. We're going to the stars. But not just for the sake of going. We're going because somewhere there's a kid like Arya who can't go themselves. We're going so we can bring back stories, experiences, and knowledge for people who can't make the journey. That's the real reason to explore. Not for ourselves, for the kids who dream bigger than their circumstances allow. He pulled something from his pocket, a patch, the official NASA patch for the Mars 2026 mission. On it, beneath the mission insignia, were words, for Arya who dreamed bigger than the stars. This patch will be on the rover when it lands on Mars next year. Arya's name, her dream, her legacy, all traveling to another planet. He held it up for everyone to see. She asked me once if I thought people would remember her. I told her they would, but even I didn't understand how true that would be. Arya Chen lived 12 years, but her impact will last forever because she taught us the most important lesson. Dreams aren't about time. They're about courage, about hope, about refusing to accept that impossible means impossible. The release. As Elon finished speaking, Margaret approached with a biodegradable box. Inside were hundreds of small, floating lanterns. Each one had a child's name written on it. Children who died from terminal illnesses in the past year. Children who, like Arya, had dreamed despite their circumstances. We honor not just Arya today, Margaret said, but every child who fought bravely, every family that loved fiercely, every person who refused to let illness define them. One by one, the lanterns were released. They floated up into the clear blue sky, catching the wind, rising higher and higher. Demetris Pappas, Chenwei, Isabella Rodriguez, Marcus Thompson, Sophia Martinez, hundreds of names, hundreds of lives, each one mattered, each one remembered. The lanterns rose until they were tiny specks against the sky like stars appearing in daylight. Below them, the underwater aurora continued to glow. Above them, the lanterns floated toward the heavens. Between sea and sky, the children stood in boats, watching, understanding that they were part of something eternal, something beautiful, something that would outlast all of them. The announcement. Sophia stepped forward one last time, holding the tablet. We have one final announcement. The technology that created the underwater aurora has been made open source as of today. Every design, every specification, every piece of research is now freely available to anyone in the world. Gasps of surprise. That means any community, any school, any organization can build their own underwater aurora. You don't need millions of dollars. You don't need Elon Musk. You just need dedication and volunteers and a desire to bring wonder to people who need it. She looked at the children. Arya's dream is now everyone's dream. Take it, build it, share it, make it bigger than we ever could alone. Dr. Tanaka added, over the next 5 years, we estimate that underwater auroras will be available in over 200 locations worldwide. That's 200 places where sick children, elderly people, and anyone who needs beauty can experience it. That's Arya's legacy. That's what she built in 12 years. The final moment. As the ceremony concluded, the sun was high overhead. The underwater aurora slowly faded as the drones powered down, their batteries exhausted. But the memory remained. Margaret knelt at the edge of the boat and placed her hand in the water where Arya's ashes had been scattered a year ago. I kept my promise too, baby, she whispered. I made sure you mattered. I made sure your dream lived on. I made sure the whole world knew your name. Elena Pappas knelt beside her, placing her hand in the water too. Our children are together now, Elena said softly. Demetris and Arya, his heart, her spirit, they're both free. The two mothers stayed like that for a long moment, hands in the sea, connected by grief and hope and the belief that love outlasts death. Around the world, the impact. By the end of July 23, 2025, over 2,000 children had experienced underwater auroras in the coordinated global event. By the end of the year, that number would reach 15,000. The Arya Chen Foundation would fund 127 pediatric cardiac surgeries in 2025. 3 new research centers dedicated to pediatric heart disease would open, funded by the foundation. 42 schools worldwide would adopt the Dreams Down Deep curriculum. And on March 17, 2026, a rover carrying Arya's name would land on Mars, transmitting its first images back to Earth. Margaret would watch that landing in a NASA control room, crying and smiling at the same time. You made it, baby, she'd whisper. You're on Mars. You finally made it to space. The last entry. That night back at her hotel in Santorini, Margaret opened Arya's purple notebook one last time. She'd never written in it before. It was Arya's private space, her dreams, her thoughts. But tonight felt different. On the last blank page, Margaret wrote, Dear Arya, 1 year without you, 365 days of missing you so much it hurts to breathe, but also 365 days of watching your dream become reality. Today, 127 underwater auroras happened around the world. Thousands of children saw what you saw, felt what you felt, understood what you understood, that beauty matters, that dreams matter, that even impossible things can come true. You lived 12 years. But your impact will be measured in centuries, in the millions of people you've inspired, in the thousands of children you've given hope, in the scientific advances your foundation will fund, in the Mars rover carrying your name. I used to wonder why you had to suffer, why you couldn't have a normal childhood, why you couldn't live to be 80, but now I understand. Your 12 years mattered more than most people's 80. You changed the world, baby. You really did. I still miss you every second. I still cry every day, but I'm also so proud, so grateful, so honored that I got to be your mother. The stars are yours, Arya, all of them, forever. I love you, Mom. P.S. Elon says your Mars rover launches in 8 months. He's invited me to watch. I'll be there. I'll watch your name travel to another planet and I'll know that you made it. You finally made it to space. Dreams don't need wings, baby. They just need courage. And you had more courage than anyone I've ever known. Margaret closed the notebook. Tomorrow it would go to the Smithsonian where it would be preserved for future generations. A reminder of a girl who dreamed bigger than her circumstances allowed. She walked out onto the balcony. The Mediterranean Sea stretched before her, dark and mysterious. Above, the stars glowed. Somewhere up there, she believed, Arya was watching, maybe with Demetrius, maybe with all the children who'd fought bravely and lost. Maybe they were all together now, finally free from pain, finally able to run and play and explore without limitation. "Good night, baby," Margaret whispered to the stars. "Thank you for being my daughter. Thank you for teaching me what matters. Thank you for changing the world." The stars twinkled back, saying nothing. But somehow Margaret knew Arya had heard her. And somewhere deep below the surface, where bioluminescent organisms still lingered, where the memory of an underwater aurora lived, the cosmos continued to visit the sea. A promise kept, a dream fulfilled, a life that mattered, forever. If this story touched your heart, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your country or city in the comments below. And if Arya's courage inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Every subscription helps us share more stories of hope and kindness with the world. There's another incredible story waiting for you right now. Just click the video on your screen. Let's keep spreading kindness together. Thank you for watching, and remember, dreams don't need wings, just courage.